We are good. Everything's live.
Perfect.
We watched our Trump episode or Trump clip a little bit.
Yeah, we set the stage, right, to acknowledge that neither of us are even remotely narcissists.
Yeah, not at all.
Right, not even a little bit.
That's why
incredibly humble.
That's why I don't have a, giant poster twice of my face on it, or my logo's not my giant face everywhere.
That would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. Yeah. So anyway, I'm a little high. You had a good segue earlier for that.
I did. Yeah. So I felt like, given the
because I'm a connoisseur,
the many ways you've blessed this comedy community with this podcast, with just your presence, I didn't want to show up empty-handed.
Okay.
So I'm bringing you some smoky treats. So we're starting off with a sativa pre-roll, the old pink pineapple.
Nice.
So there's that for you.
Thank you very much.
Let me lean out there.
Nice.
And then, because somebody, we don't know when this will air, but if it airs on Tuesday,
it is Wednesday, my dudes.
We all like a good 2 for Tuesday.
Yeah.
So this is 2 icy rolls, which are ice water hash infused.
Oh shit.
So this seems like it might be a nice little spanking for your brain.
Nice. Well, thank you, man.
You're welcome. Now, but wait, there's more. So I wanted to live on after this podcast, and so I thought, well, what better way than to bring a limited addiction. There's a Freudian slip. Limited addiction. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, they're all limited.
I'm not a full-blown addict. I just have a limited addiction. This is a not even close to mint in the box, Mr. Orange from fucking Reservoir Dogs.
Holy shit.
And it comes with his police badge, his 45, and his sunglasses are in the box somewhere. They've just fallen to the bottom.
Okay, I gotta grab something real quick, just so it goes with it, because you're gonna see how much of a fan I am of Quentin Tarantino in that.
Oh, the 15th anniversary.
Yeah, and it's an actual kerosene. It's a gas
Oh my
can.
God, it is.
It's the gas can. If you pull it off, pull it up, lift the tab up on the top.
Oh
it
my
It's
gosh.
a book of matches, and that's the DVD. They went all out for that.
Man,
So I was like, we got to show it together.
Back when I was a, I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I was like, those two things will be put together.
Back when I was a smoker, I went online and downloaded someone had made a Red Apple cigarettes cutout that you could make as a case to put your cigarettes in.
Yeah.
So I would smoke American Spirits because I'm bougie.
Yeah.
But I had them in a Red Apple cigarette pack, and I felt like the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah, I love I used to collect DVDs. I used to have a huge collection, and then I sold it all off. But I kept a lot of the really cool ones.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a keeper. And then I felt like this just really screamed Ralphie Allen energy.
Nice.
Jared Ralphie Allen energy. So this is the World Domination Edition Stewie doll.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome, man.
Dude, you brought so many gifts.
Well,
Thank you, everybody.
This has really just helped me
I love the mom tattoo.
Yeah, he's got a little mom tattoo. Yeah.
That's gonna go on the couch with all the other stuff.
Mommy.
So I have a collection of the couch of pillows. We have Sting, of course.
Yes.
We have Cartman as the coon from South Park.
Oh, right.
And then the newest edition is we have the smiley face taco. Mostly because he's very soft.
So happy. Yeah.
And
it feels touchable.
It's very I don't know, therapeutic almost, that pillow.
Yeah, if we get into really vulnerable emotional territory, I'll bust that out.
Well, yeah, and if you want to, go ahead and add him to the pile.
We'll just add Stewie.
Add Stewie. Oh, we dropped Stewie.
Stewie down.
Fucking Brian did it.
We've got a Stewie down.
I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. Hey, I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite mobile banking app such as Cash App. Man, I love using Cash App, especially when I'm doing things other than buying drugs. Cash App. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Unloading Meat. Man, you're gonna love this next guest. I think I finally found somebody that can match me in the glasses department, in the Epic glasses department.
I try.
We're gonna try. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Jeff Thompson.
What's up, everybody?
I said Thompson, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm horrible with names. I always have to go over that like 4 times in my head. I was like, is it Thompson? Timpson? Thompson? Timpson? Yeah, I mess up intentionally.
I know that there's some people that say Thompson, and they're dead to me. They need to be off the planet.
Yeah. Do they mispronounce thumb?
Yeah, Tum. Yeah, and then somebody hands up an antacid, and so it's a whole confusing situation.
Fucking antacids are yes ands.
Yes, and exactly. Yeah. Yes.
You never knew it.
Yeah, the improv of medicine.
I'm more of a roll-in man myself.
I go way back with Zantac.
Ooh.
And then I take my Prilosec every morning as a preventative.
Is it the OTC?
The OTC. It's like a condom for the tummy.
It's like, oh man, I take my Mucinex and I gotta get the DM. I gotta get the one that's in the advertisement.
Oh yeah, the Mucinex DM, and then you're like, it's never sending me private messages. How come?
Yeah, I know. I even get on Twitter, and I have you ever followed some of those? Like every company has a Twitter or an X at this point, but you know, this comes out like 2 months. It'll probably be Y by that point. Elon's gonna lose the trademark or something. How
the fuck did Steakum become this? Like, have you seen any of the Steakum
stuff? I follow Steakum.
It's insane. Like, I want to meet the person that's doing their Twitter. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's so out of context. Yeah. It's like the last place you'd ever expect wisdom to be coming from. Or like,
it's the fucking Steakum's X account.
Yeah,
it's a fucking Twitter account.
Pithy discussion topics from a frozen slabs of beef.
Yeah. It's like back in the day when I think they still do it, like the Arby's Twitter account, whenever they do like the different like foldings of the Arby's like wrappers into like famous shapes and stuff like that, and that would be their things.
I never saw any of those.
It'd be like if they were doing like the wrestling had one, they would do like an Arby's wrapper and they wrap it into like a wrestling championship belt and then stuff like that. And it'd be like really articulate. Somebody was hired by Arby's to make Arby's art, really articulated and intricate art. We're gonna show this. Let's see. Some of the stuff was
sandwich wrapper origami situation.
Pretty much. Yeah. So they've done several apparently. And these are good. These are AEW ones. I'm a fan of wrestling.
Okay. I saw that. I figured that out.
They did 3 for AEW, and they used the fries as the hair and stuff.
Oh my gosh!
Like somebody's job is just to do this.
That's impressive. And I will give it to him.
It's just like, and I'll put it up in frame and stuff. But like, yeah, that's just all they do is they do stuff like that, and they'll do it with the wrappers and like whatever promotional thing they want to do with the tie-in. Right. Hire that guy, and he'll make a Arby's wrapper thing out of it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it, man. It's like, I love it and I hate it. Here's why I hate it, because it's this whole idea of like corporations can have an adorable personality.
Yep.
Thanks to Citizens United, now now your favorite corporation can talk to you on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, this is one of those like very layered conversations. But like once you realize that you're in the soup, you might as well just be bacon. It's like I'm in the soup. I'm not. It's not like I'm going to go live in the woods and eat tree bark and be a vegan.
Yeah.
So I'm participating in this consumer system.
Yeah.
So I might as well have a sense of humor about it. I might as well be real about it.
Yeah.
It's
like you wake up one day. I mean, that's just growing up, and you kind of just start. You can see the Matrix basically.
Yeah.
And like it's just how you navigate that. Like you can play along with it, but it's like, most of the time when we talk about comedians here, it's like people will come to our shows because they just want to see our point of view. Like, here's how we view the world. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah.
And is it kind of humorous to you?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I think the more that we look at it, we can either go 2 routes. We can either be jaded by it and run away from it.
Right.
Kind of fear route.
Right.
Or we can kind of embrace it and poke fun at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of our jobs.
100%.
We need to be that place that's like, this is bullshit. Like, this is funny, right? Like, you guys realize how stupid this is, right?
Yeah, you can do like, Bill Hicks is sort of my like paragon of comedy, and like he held up the mirror to society, and he got people to think about stuff that they weren't thinking about.
Yeah.
And I found him at a time when I was kind of awakening to the matrix of my own, like, and now where I'm at with it is it's like, I realize I'm in a prison cell, but guess what? The warden lets me decorate it. So it's okay. I can bring in contraband,
Yeah. Which, like, I mean, it's like I'm not gonna go on here and be like, man, I fucking hate all these big corporations and stuff like that. As I look at my only fucking figures of fucking
it's
the Disney empire, the Hasbro empire that has a Hulk on me.
You either accept that there's going to be layers of hypocrisy to every stance that you're going to take, or you just end up not ever taking a stance.
Yeah.
You know who Abby Hoffman is?
Heard the name.
Yeah, 60s, kind of a.
Wait. The Chicago, what was it?
There was, I think
there was a Netflix show about it, right?
Yeah. And he was part of the Yippie movement.
Okay.
And there's a documentary about him. Well, that was actually what do you call it? Fictional biopic.
Biopic. Yeah. One of the trial of the Chicago 7 or whatever.
That's the more recent one that came out, and that was Aaron Sorkin, and that was wonderful.
Yeah, that's what
This was I saw it at the Seattle Art Museum years ago, and it was I just randomly was at the art museum that day, and they were showing it. And Donal Logue, who's an actor that I really like, is in a movie called Tao of Steve. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen Tao of Steve, but I know Donal.
But Tao of Steve is like
terriers.
Tao of Steve is perfect because it's like. It's the how do fat guys get laid? Basically, it's like the Stairway to Heaven of that genre, if that is a genre.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, Dallas Steve. But anyway,
start taking notes.
So I'm a fan of him. He's also the guy that gets his arm chopped off in Blade. That's one of the henchmen. Yep. So anyway, Donald's in the movie plays Abby Hoffman's friend, and he talks about how or actually the character that the real guy that he played was there as well. And the guy was talking about how in this age of liberalism, we have this paralysis where we're overthinking. Like the hippies were misguided, but they at least took a stance.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're so like afraid of like stepping on toes that it becomes this sort of crippling
holding pattern.
Yeah, a holding pattern. Exactly.
Yeah, agree. It's kind of like, I mean, people have their own views about, the pandemic, COVID, I'm not even getting into that political shit, all that shit.
Right.
But like a lot of comedians like Bert or Tom Segura and stuff like that were talking about how like when they're trying to get back on the road, they would go to the conservative states because that was the ones that were like ready to be laughing and have more fun.
Yeah.
And they were, even if we do it on a field, or Bert did his like open like theater tour, like only conservative states were allowing them to even do that because they were just ready to have fun and like give some entertainment out and get it going. And that's what had to open that back up.
Yeah, that's a whole like multi-layered cake of irony that you'd have to like really unpack. Like how is it that the conservatives became the first ones to be able to laugh about stuff? You know? It's crazy.
Yet they call everybody snowflakes.
Yeah,
but it's literally like I kind of love how you say multi-layered cake because as we get older, it becomes more and more apparent that nothing is black and white. Nothing is a yes and no answer. Nothing is just, we do this, magically solved. Everything has consequences. Yeah. Everything has multiple layers to it. And nothing is just as easy as just fixing it by one problem.
That's right.
And everything is going to take some, some compromises.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Nothing's going to be perfect.
Yeah, and it's that's why it's so interesting that we have these leaders that people want to like get shirts printed up and like be on like Team Biden or Team Trump or whatever, because it's like it's sort of like asking somebody who your favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you answer that question, you're going to come up with 7 more characters that you're going to be like, man, I can't believe I didn't even think about Black Panther. Or I can't believe I didn't think about, and now look, I'm the guy that didn't think about Black Panther.
Yeah.
So now it's because I'm white, and it's, there's this whole racist thing. Like there's so many layers, and we're like, I think all of us are confined in these little bitty ways. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so glad I got into comedy, even though I waited till very late in life to do it, is that it's really helped me kind of overcome my own, what if I offend somebody, or what if I say the wrong thing? Like, guess what? That's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Today, right now. Like,
no matter what, something's going to happen.
Countdown.
Yep. As soon as this episode goes out, they're going to be, oh shit, 2 guys with glasses? Fuck.
Right, exactly. Oh,
it's not Drew Carey?
It's a white guy with glasses cabal.
Yeah. You brought up MCU character. Pick your favorite MCU character.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we are with politicians and stuff like that now, is where like we go by the brands.
Yes.
You have to build a brand, you have to build a gimmick, you have to build a character. It's like, you have to bring up who's your favorite MCU character. Okay. Ask your parents who Thor is. Tell me a little bit about Thor. Describe him.
Yes.
Blonde dude, hammer, lightning, possibly.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way Trump built his brand.
Totally.
This thing, wall. Like it's basic. It's like just like, you know, anybody would be able to describe that in just a small thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it came down to. And that's what these things are doing is they're building these brands.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what everybody gravitates to.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about that idea because as I started my own business, I've been thinking about the idea of brand identity and like what all that means, and I've been trying to be transparent about it. I've been going live on Facebook and talking about it and trying to just be transparent about the fact that, you know, when you choose a brand to represent something, like you and I talked briefly about Unloading Meat, right? And the idea is that it's like, I love that ambiguity, man.
Yeah. And so, that's
same
why...
thing with Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
What happens to Mr. Pink? You can hear 100 different interpretations.
Reservoir Dogs?
Reservoir Dogs, yeah, thank you, yeah. Yeah, I actually, me and my friend Brad, on a cannabis-fueled evening one night, kind of wrote a sequel, like what happens with Mr. Pink and the Diamonds, and kind of like taking it into so like the whole idea. I mean, I think that'd be a fun movie to do. I know Tarantino would never do it, but it'd be cool to see somebody else do it, kind of as like an indie, like low to the ground project or something.
You want to know my twist to it?
What's that?
What's his name? I'm forgetting the name of the one that's shot. Mr.
Harvey Keitel?
No. Tim Roth's character.
Mr. Orange.
Mr. Orange.
Yeah, the guy that's on.
Yes. Why I forgot that. Yeah. The guy that's training him to be undercover, the black dude.
Yeah, yes.
What if he's the one that was tipping him off or in on it?
Wow.
From the start.
What if he got implanted with Joe's crew specifically? That's interesting.
I always thought that because that character was so dynamic and was in that one scene, and then you never hear about him again, and he's never attached to anything else.
Got to be naturalistic as hell.
Yeah. That character always stood out to me as like that character had something more. There was something more to that.
I want to watch that again from that lens. I wonder if there's any tells or giveaways.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Same thing with like I love the ambiguity of they never explain what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Right,
just the gold glow.
Have you heard the rock and roll theory? Oh, this is so someone's theory is that it's the soul of rock and roll, and the black man is stealing it back from the white man.
Holy shit!
So Butch represents the rockabilly era, right? Marsalis represents the R&B era, kind of reclaiming the soul of rock and roll from the white man that stole it. And then you've got Vincent Vega with the sideburns, and his like the Elvis. Are you an Elvis man or a Beatles man? Remember, she asked him that question. Yep. So there's this whole thread, and then you've got the British invasion, Tim Roth's character, Honey Bunny.
Yep.
So
that's fucking cool.
It's a cool, again, just like Unloading Meat. It's a cool overlay, and I think that movies that give you that kind of room to bring your own interpretation, I think that's true art. Yeah. There's this concept that I learned a long time ago called the objective correlative, and it's an artistic idea of if you have a true intention and you create a piece of art, and then someone interprets that art and aligns with your exact intention, that's the objective correlative or correlative. I don't know how you pronounce it, but and I kind of think it's cooler when that doesn't happen.
Okay, so when they see it from a different point of view. They see it different that you didn't, that the original creator didn't see.
Yeah, well, and you know, as an artist yourself, you don't always know what the intent is behind something.
No.
You know?
It's kind of why
I have tons of punchlines with no jokes. I just think like this whole idea of Amish coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
That just is fucking hilarious to me. I can't figure out like how to build it to where it ends in something. Yeah. But I get those types of like just things that are funny to me, and I don't really know why, but I want to like explore that. You know?
Same thing with my notes. Like I have my notebook for my stand up.
Yeah.
That I write for that set that day, but I'm a big fan of like Google Notes. I'm an Android guy.
Yeah.
So like as I'm going through the car and I think of something funny, it's just a random note of just constant, just adding these.
Yeah, I've got that too.
And then all I do is like when I'm doing like a set, I'll be like, okay, well I have like 3 things about dogs somewhere, and I'll just type in dog, and then I start working on segues.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
And that's just what I do to build a set sometimes. But getting back to Pulp Fiction and stuff, there is a bit I'm working on, and I haven't worked on it all the way, but I'm kind of ending my stuff with it. I did it at Baby Ruth. We're talking about Quentin Tarantino universe.
Yeah.
Marcellus Wallace, stuff like that. And we talked about Arby's also. It's kind of coincidental. You know who does the Arby's We Have the Meats voice? It's Ving Rhames.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Now, picture him saying, Arby's, we have the meats.
Yes.
And then think about that scene in Pulp Fiction where he's getting raped.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah. And so what I did it the first time, I didn't even mention that scene. I kind of just hinted at it. So as I did it, and people caught it.
Right.
Because most people don't really know Ving Rhames is like, is like a, what is it called? Filmography. They may know like Mission Impossible, but most people know him as Pulp Fiction dude, the dude that was like the gimp suit and all that stuff. That's what he's famous for.
Yes.
So when I say it's Ving Rhames, the dude from Pulp Fiction. Now imagine him saying, we have the meats, and I just leave it there. And you hear all the audience go, oh, and it's just a groan. And I'm like,
as everyone collectively kind of gets it.
Yeah.
That's the problem with playing a cannabis festival. You got to add an extra 30 seconds in there for everybody to get it. So by the time you've moved on to the next joke, they're just getting the last one. You got to really slow it down.
That's how I felt whenever I do open mic at Sesh. Everybody's getting really high, and so you just got to slow the fuck down.
Yeah. You know who's a master at that is Dakota.
Yes.
Dakota just lets things breathe, man. I watched him. It's I've got the recording of that whole set, and I haven't asked his permission yet to put it out, so I edited it out. But I forgot I did this. This is one of my little comfort things. Is I comb my goatee. My current aesthetic is kind of a skater Colonel Sanders. Yeah, Dakota just. He was eating cheese balls out of a popcorn sack, and like kind of counting them as he went, and it was somehow engaging. It was like people were like kind of into it. It was really he's somebody like Norm Macdonald, who you can tell if nobody was in the room, he'd still probably be having just as much fun. Yeah, like he's doing comedy.
Yeah, and they have that built-in charisma. Like, it's just something about them that it's just like it's electric that just draws you in the room.
Yeah, I've been drawn to him like my ancestors were drawn to his land. Sort of alluring.
I'm rewatching Reservation Dogs right now. Another thing that's Reservoir Dogs, inspired them.
Yeah, the black suits. Yeah, that whole man.
Which honestly, I'm rewatching it for the third time because I haven't got to season 3 yet. Yeah. Like basically how I work with my subscriptions is like as I get a show, I'll subscribe to Hulu, watch that season, and then when that season ends, I'll cancel Hulu, go to Max, and I kind of revolve it like that.
Yeah, that's if you could schedule it the right way or be patient. Yeah, because there's always spoilers out there in the universe, and so you got to be like, oh, they're talking about Reservation Dogs, I need to not listen.
Yeah. And then sometimes there's things like, the Disney Hulu where you can get the bundle and it's just all together. Like, Star Wars I can watch weekly because I have Disney Plus just built in. Right. But like I'll cycle through like Hulu or Max or Netflix, something like that, depending on the shows that are coming out. Yeah. Just to save money. Yeah. And so I was waiting to get Hulu until season 3 was really getting going. So I just now got it. I'm watching season 1 and 2 again. But it was really dawning on me, the first episode of that pilot, they have them in the Reservoir Dogs black suits. Yeah. And it's like the homage, and you see the poster on Bear's wall and stuff like that. But it really doesn't dawn on you until season 2 why they had those suits originally. And it's because their friend Daniel died, and that's the suits that they bought for the funeral. Right. And they're all wearing those suits at the funeral, and that's where they got the suits.
Right. So it looks like they're up to shenanigans, but really it's their grief. It's a physical embodiment of their grief.
Yes.
That's been now fused to their identity.
Yeah. And so like when they started that Res Dogs in the very first episode, they get called the Reservation Dogs, stuff like that, because they're wearing the suits for Daniel and secretly, and you don't even know who Daniel is or anything like that. Right. And like that shows a masterclass to just pull back the layers of the onion and just more and more and more.
Yeah. Great. Love it. Great pacing and great reveal. And and the characters are also compelling. Yeah. It's funny. It's meaningful.
The episode I got to last night, I rewatched, was the one where Daniel's mom's in prison. Right. And we were talking earlier about how keeping it kind of don't treat the audience as an idiot kind of don't have to write in every single thing. You can leave some things morally ambiguous or, just, you don't have to, write in every single thing. Yeah. they never tell you why she's in jail.
Right.
If you really do the digging, they never even mention why she's in prison or anything. You just know that she had a fight with the husband and then Daniel died.
Right.
And then somewhere in that year or so left, she's in prison now.
Right.
But they show you like going through the motions of rolling a paper cigarette and smoking a fake cigarette because she's like, it helps with stress. And then they say that she looks healthy now in the passing. And so you can kind of put the pieces together, like maybe it was a drug problem.
Yeah.
But they don't say it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that, where it's like, it's not really just hammering it over your head like, hey, she's a drug addict.
Right.
Because then you bring in your own predispositions to it.
Somebody pointed out, and I agree, that another really good example of that universe building that's more implicit than explicit is with the Road Warrior remake, the Mad Max remake.
Yeah,
I mean, all of that mythology that you see, clearly Valhalla, like they've taken some Norse mythology and they've built this sort of, car hot rod infused, layer into it.
Yeah,
but they don't explain it to you, and like the tumors, like you don't really know where the tumors are coming from. But so and I really saw like that compared to like how George Lucas with the prequels felt like he needed to like tie up every little thread in a bow. I'm like, man, leave some shit ambiguous.
Yeah.
Give people a little bit of credit.
And then it kind of, it was overkill in the sense of like, it was, it's better to show, not tell.
Yes.
And the elevator scene of Attack of the Clones, the opening where Anakin and Obi-Wan are like, you first meet Anakin as grown up basically again.
Yeah.
He's like teenage Anakin. And it's like 2 minutes of them in an elevator, and it's like him, like them recounting all the great battles where they saved each other or whatever on. And it's like,
I haven't felt you this tense since we fell into that nest of gundogs.
You fell into that nightmare, Master, and I rescued you, remember?
Oh, yes.
Well, it's just been kind of cool to see like a montage of just that.
Right.
Could you just show us that?
Yeah,
I'd like to see that. And then instead of just like, Obi-Wan going, huh. Yeah, maybe. Or I can't remember what he says, but he's like quirky. It's like,
well, it's like the line, sand is coarse and it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Like then you could have shown that way, way cooler than telling it.
Yeah. Anakin comes off super creepy in episode 2. I just rewatched that again with my 6-year-old or my 7-year-old.
And it makes his I didn't never think of this till just now. It makes his murder of the sand people almost seem racist. It's like you have sand in your name, and I fucking hate sand, so I'm gonna kill you guys. Yeah. You killed my mother. That's a vengeance thing, but really it's because you have sand in your name.
Do you think he killed the dogs? He didn't mention them.
He didn't. Yeah.
He was specifically like, even the women,
those dogs are
children.
creepy as fuck.
Those dogs are nasty.
I would have probably killed them.
Yeah.
When the Mandalorian was able to like get one to roll over on its belly, I was like, okay, kind of cute, but still, he's wearing Beskar, so like I would feel a lot safer approaching a Rottweiler if I was wearing Beskar armor,
Yeah. Leave it to Dave Filoni to basically be like, everything George Lucas did to rush through the prequels, I'm going to expand and try to fix. Like, even the Tusken Raiders where Anakin just murders them all, he's like, we're going to spend like 4 episodes of fucking Boba Fett's journey where we just reintroduce the Tusken Raiders. Like, maybe they were okay.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, and I think that's the other thing that he's doing is he's telling, I think he's doing what Lucas started off doing, which was taking these great Kurosawa films and, these great Westerns that were based on Kurosawa films and like telling these larger heroic themes. The Mandalorian is essentially Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
I mean, that's exactly what
you're exactly right.
But he uses that opportunity to like cast the Sand People in sort of indigenous light, and to you start to see it, like you don't even have to see the Empire to now see them cast as the technology evil giant, contrasted against the purity of this
gentrification.
This simple gentrification, exactly. This like simple indigenous culture that got corrupted by slick, right angles. And
Anakin hates sand and coarseness, so he would love the clean lines of the Empire.
Well, and he says in that same speech, he's talking about somebody should make them.
Yeah.
Like you see, fascism born right there.
Yeah. Well, it's like one of the best lines in Phantom Menace, or one of the best scenes with young Jake Lloyd, is when he first gets on the ship, and he's all talking about like, he doesn't like sand and stuff like that. They don't talk about how much he hates sand until episode 2, really.
Right.
But even in episode 1, he's young. He doesn't like the environment he's in. And then he gets on that ship, and he's like, it's cold.
Cold, yeah.
And she gives him a blanket and stuff like that. He's like, it's like realization of like, oh shit. Like, yeah. I kind of like that little part.
That's telling.
Are you watching Ahsoka?
I am watching Ahsoka.
Nerd spoiler warning. To me, to see live action Ahsoka for the first time was kind of cool.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I loved the parallel, George Lucas talks about how he likes when things rhyme, you know, like something references something else and there's a kind of poetic overlay.
Yeah.
I think overlay is the word I'm going to overuse a lot in this podcast.
Overused overlays.
Overused overlays, yeah.
Check it.
Underlaid. I've been very underlaid.
Overused and underlaid.
Yeah, I'm so underlaid, man. But yeah, no, I love it. And when she comes out of that experience of having been in the world between worlds with Anakin, and you can tell she's gone through a purification. Really,
yeah, it's Gandalf.
Exactly.
She's Star Wars Gandalf now.
Yeah, she's Ahsoka the White.
Yeah,
and I love that because she's been like when she first showed up on the Mandalorian in live action.
Yeah.
I was pumped.
Me too.
Because I was like, this is a character that has like, she's almost like, she's the best Star Wars hero we've ever had. I think. And because she's not white, she's female. So like it checks a lot of diversity boxes, and I hate to like even bring that part into the conversation.
Yeah,
but I think it's important in that universe, especially.
Yeah,
and
you have to have somebody to relate to, and people joke about it all the time, like, fucking I'm gonna steal his bit, but Blake Dyer.
Yeah,
he's marrying a black woman, and he talks about like, what are we gonna do role play for the Star Wars movie? Who's she gonna be? Fucking Lando?
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's no black people. Like it's like
what have we here?
Yeah. So I love his bit.
Oh man.
But you know what I mean? Like it's like representation is very important unless you for some reason make a black stormtrooper and then fucking people lose their shit.
Yeah. Well, that stuff to me is like the whole Little Mermaid. Or remember when Fox News was talking about how Santa Claus is white, not black? I'm like, he's fictional.
Yeah.
He's fictional. He can be whatever you want him to be.
Well, like my problem with The Little Mermaid was like I didn't care anything about that. I thought she had a great voice, but that first trailer, the CGI kind of looked like she had a unibrow.
Yeah,
that was my whole thing. Is like when I saw like the whole thing, I was like, she looks great and looks fantastic. But like that first like thumbnail kind of thing, it kind of had her brow like this, and people said she had like a unibrow. Like I kind of see what they're saying on Reddit,
right?
And it was just like that picture went viral, kind of part of it.
Boy, I tell you what, being able to pause digital film really gave conspiracy theorists a lot of fodder, man. Yep. I'm telling you, man, that just like changed the game completely because they're like, now I can pause the scene and I can absolutely see the swastika in Anika's forehead when he wrinkles his head, whatever,
And it's like, magic editing, man. We talk about it all the time. Like, we were talking about back and forth of like the magic of writing and like, less is more and like, not knowing what all is going to be in the scene and stuff sometimes is I love going in post and even doing this episode and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I tell people like it takes about a month or two before I put them out. Yeah. The reason being is I don't like to go in and edit like right after we get this done.
Right.
Because in my mind, if I do that, and I've done it, I've rushed episodes. The Michael Patton episode, I had to do like that week because he came in and I was trying to promote the fresh faces for him.
Yeah.
To me, it lends to a shittier episode, in my opinion, because I'm in my head going, well, I got to remember that part, and that part, because that was really funny. And so I go in predetermined to look for those parts, and it may not be the funniest part in hindsight, but I'm going and editing around that purposely. Whereas now, I try to go like 1 or 2 months away, completely fresh, don't remember a single fucking thing, and I go in like a fresh audience, and I'm editing like that.
I've never regretted sleeping on something.
Yeah.
Like letting something breathe. Yeah. Like the hastily written email that you send, and then you're like, if I'd have just waited a day, there would have been so much more information that I would have had at my disposal.
That was the best advice I'd ever gotten from a former manager when I worked at cell phones. They were like, if you're going to send an email to a supervisor or anything like that, pre-type it, save it in your drafts, go to bed, wait for a day or something, and then go back. And if you really want to send it, reread it and then send it the next day.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That helped me so much.
Haste of what there's a line in some recovery literature that talks about restraint of tongue and pen. That's I'm an impulsive person. My mouth gets me in trouble, but in certain settings, I think a little self-censorship is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, like in the professional setting, of course, if your bread and butter is tied to your reputation at work, then maybe hit pause on that, sending that email until you have a chance to calm down a little bit.
Well, it's like anything in life, moderation.
Yeah.
Everything should be moderated, and it's like nothing should be in excess. You know, obviously.
No, it's same. I don't know if I don't know if you know this. I had the bariatric surgery.
I've wanted to get it.
Yeah,
my insurance doesn't qualify. So
same here.
I thought about going to Mexico.
I did it. So here's the story. I was thinking about doing it. I tried to get approved 3 times to get it done. Actually, there's a place in Bartlesville, the Bailey Center.
I tried Bartlesville and Owasso. I've tried twice. I've got failed, but
same here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it. And then I started looking at how much it was in Mexico. And then everybody's like laying all this like taboo stuff on me, and I'm like, all that smacks of a lot of racism, but okay. And so then I like started doing my own research, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do it. And so I was getting some tattoos from the guy that does my tattoos is also my Bible study leader, which is kind of an interesting duality. And I was just saying, hey man, I'm thinking of going to Mexico to get that surgery. And he goes, if you go, I'll go with you. And I was like, if you're serious, I'll book it right now. And he's like, yeah, I'm serious. So shout out Eddie. Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I probably wouldn't have done it right then if he hadn't said that. And so, I booked it, and within 3 months, I was on my way to Mexico to get the surgery, and I'm down a total of 143 pounds.
Damn, congrats, man.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
So I got the surgery in March, but I had lost 80 pounds in 2022 after I got COVID, which almost killed me. And so, but I lost 80 and then put 40 of it back on around the holidays. And I was like, that's when I was like, fuck this, man. This yo-yo thing is so frustrating. And
because that's what I'm currently going through. Because I lost 73 pounds from November 2022 until January of November 2021.
Yeah,
I can't remember the fucking dates. Anyway, I basically lost 73 pounds in a year. The dates, and it was when I launched this podcast.
Yeah,
January I got into a car wreck, got 2 bulge discs, and now I have partial paralysis in my right arm and stuff down too.
So that slows down your mobility. So you can't exercise. Yeah.
I gained 20 more back just instantly, just sitting on the couch, stuff like that. And like now it's just like fuck, I can't do shit. I can't even weed eat right now. I can't mow my lawn. I can't. If I push or pull on my arm, whole arm goes to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, that's just how I am right now, and I'm constant. It feels so like the best description of it is you ever seen like a mother cat like pick up another baby cat by the neck?
Yeah.
It feels like somebody's clamped me like that constantly like that.
Oh wow.
And if I do too much with his arm, it'll just go to sleep.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. I'm sorry that you're going through that.
That started, like I said, January 31st, I got in the car wreck, and I launched this podcast February. Put out the first episode in February, the week after that.
Yeah.
And so that was just the start of my comedy thing. It was like, I just like to keep going.
Well, man, I will make the same commitment to you that Eddie made to me. If you decide you're going to go to go get that surgery in Mexico, and you want somebody to go with you, I'll be your guy.
Dude, let's do it.
All right.
Ballpark. What was the figure you did?
So I was about $5,000, and then I spent another probably $1,000 on travel because I bought Eddie's ticket.
Yeah.
I was about $6,000 out the door.
Okay.
And my mom had passed away. My dad's widow. She was technically my stepmom. And when she passed away, I got some inheritance money from that, and so I was able to use that money to do that. But yeah, I mean, saved my life. I'm confident because
I see all the benefits. I mean, there's a girl I'm chatting to right now on Tinder that had it recently, and she's lost like 100 pounds. And I'm like, I see all the benefits. I want it. Yeah. It's more that like that rejection sucks of going through like because they make you go through the fucking all the preliminaries. You got to sit through the fucking what's it called, the little guided tour thing, or the what's it called?
You have to watch their little seminar thing. Yeah, exactly.
And then just to get through all that hopes and dreams and all that how to go through, and then get the rejection is like sucks.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Well, the process in Mexico is really cool. I'd be happy to walk you through the whole thing.
Yeah,
and have my experience of it. And then, the other thing that I'll say is that I've heard some horror stories from people that have like had the surgery, and then there's like certain foods that they can't eat. I've had none of that. I almost feel guilty because like my experience has been so great. I had I stopped at Happy Burger on the way up here and had a burger, and I just take the top bun off, and I can eat a single patty burger, almost 75% of it, and then I'm full.
Nice.
And so it's like I fucking eat whatever I want. And I'm still losing weight like at a much slower rate, but I think that's even better.
Yeah.
And then I started going to the gym and I'm hitting the weights. And so, it's a slow process, but like once you start seeing like that steady progress, I had this interesting thought. I was joking because I took this crazy weird hiatus after I got back from the surgery from comedy. And I was like, they cut the funny part of my stomach out. And I was always kind of joking about it. But then I started learning about the enteric nervous system and like a major physiological change like that can absolutely change your emotional makeup. And then I realized, oh, guess what else? I don't hate myself anymore. And so like what's motivating me to seek the approval of a room full of strangers? You know, like, so I had to find a new reason to try to do comedy that wasn't based on like filling a void, but rather just entertaining people and me having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll be so much of a stretch for me, like, you know, when you say like certain foods you couldn't eat and stuff like that, because like I have my gallbladder out.
It's the opposite of a stretch.
I have an express lane now on that already.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
But yeah, like the gallbladder's been out for like almost 11 years now or something like that. So like, you know, I'm used to that. There's certain things I can't already eat. I can't eat pepperoni or like sausage, stuff like that very much, or like even marinara sauce will tear me the fuck up.
Really?
It makes me so sick. I don't drink soda. I cut soda out like almost 2 years ago.
That'll make a huge difference. Yeah. I know some people that have just like cut out soda and just like lost 50 pounds like that.
That's what basically what's like when I lost my 73 pounds or whatever. I didn't really work out or anything. It was just I cut out soda and like I'll drink a 0 sugar Monster like once every couple of days.
Yeah,
that's my caffeine. Yeah, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah. You don't like it?
I can't stand the taste of coffee.
That's crazy.
I cannot stand the taste of coffee. Even like coffee flavored candy, anything like a Jamocha shake at Arby's, anything. It's instant like
I love coffee, and that's one of the things that changed the flavor after I got COVID. Bums me out, but it's starting to come back to normal.
Really?
Yeah.
Even like going into a Starbucks, I'm like, oh, that smell is like overwhelming.
Wow. It's
that bad. It's like I could smell like the warmth of it and that's kind of thing. But like I'm the guy at Starbucks. I'm like, what do you have that's not coffee? And it's like, I love the refreshers. The refreshers there are great.
I'm gonna start saying that when people are asking me to find something positive to say about something that I'm gonna say I can smell the warmth of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what it is.
I don't know. Just like I can see the benefits of it. It's like I
like that. I like that phrase.
Yeah,
smell the warmth of it.
Well, I mean, I went through 2 divorces. I've said it before. I've tried to take my life twice. I'm a 2-time failure of suicide. Roscoe coined that. 2-time. I was like, I'm a 2-time survivor of suicide. He goes, well, you're not really a survivor. You're more of a failure. And I was like, yep, you're kind of right.
Good. Yes. Yeah. That's what you want to do with somebody that's suicidal is find a way to make them feel bad about even failing at suicide.
So even one of my nameplates on the show says like when I put up my name, it says Jared Ralphie Allen, 2-time suicide failure.
Suicide failure. Yeah, exactly.
So like I've been through that, got through therapy, and therapy really let me connect the dots of like, you know, everything that happened. You know, sexual abuse, all that stuff.
Are you still doing therapy?
Not right now.
Yeah.
I've been trying to see about getting back into it.
Yeah. I have a daughter and a stepson.
Okay.
And then 2 grandkids from my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was 18 when her mom got knocked up. And
spoiler alert.
Yeah. And first time we had sex. So I always have this image of my daughter Meg, like in the void, like prior to creation, like tapping her foot, like looking at her watch, like any minute now, I'm ready. And so like as soon as her mom and I had sex, she's like, here I come, Earth, I'm ready. And I was terrified, so unprepared, you know. But yeah, man, I love that you're honest about that what you struggled with. I think that, you know, you look at somebody like Robin Williams, everybody saw him as this like joyful person. He brought so much joy to other people, and yet you just know he was just tortured, just tortured inside.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'll remember it later. Darkness. Just remind me about Darkness.
Darkness.
Darkness, everybody! Darkness!
It's one of my favorite bands, The Darkness.
I believe in a thing called love. I saw a girl sing that an octave higher recently.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite bands. Like I sing that at karaoke. I can sing very high pitch.
Wow.
So like karaoke, I'll sing like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I'll do. I always identify with like the background singers
like
more.
Sherry Baby.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a high note, man. Can you hit the high note in Since You've Been Gone? When she comes back in the verse and she goes, 'cause since you've been gone,
oh God, no.
I can't breathe for the first time.
No. That's fucking Kelly Clarkson. Yeah. No, I can't hit that. I'll do Deborah by Beck.
Oh. I met you at JCPenney. I think a name tag. It said Jenny.
Thing goes wrong. Make us sound like a dying giraffe. What's a dying giraffe sound like? Okay.
We have got to take this shit on the road, man.
Yep.
Some fucking falsetto, Falsetto Bros. Falset Bros.
Falset Bros.
Falset Bros. Yes, we could do it.
Fat Set Bros.
Yeah, Fat Set Bros. Of
Fat
course.
Set Bros.
Come on, man, with glasses.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm kind of mad that Drew Carey gave it the look.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
He's betrayed us.
Drew Carey looks like a multiverse version of Drew Carey.
Look, look, let's just make a pact right now.
Yeah.
We'll never do a game show.
Yeah, we'll never get Prices Right. Or
I mean, if we invent a game show, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But we'll never go on someone's game show as a way to get work.
Odds are I'll probably be hosting something sponsored by Hasbro.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Hasbro, sponsor me.
Who
Come
would
on.
be my sponsor?
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by a famous game like Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends. I've never played it, but boy, if they sponsor this show, I might give it a try. Hopefully. It really depends, Stefano, on what the contract says, like how long I have to play it. I've heard good things. Have you heard good things? Nobody cares about your opinion. Anyway, if you are sick of these fake ads, make sure that you reach out to people like Raid Shadow Legends and tell them to sponsor the show Unloading Meat, and they'll be replaced soon. Anyway, back to the show.
I'm trying to think.
Well, you're clean now. Who was your legit sponsor? That was a joke.
Oh, yeah.
That was a joke.
No, that's good. My legit sponsor is this. Interestingly enough, this sponsor was picked out for me. I was like almost like an arranged marriage. And normally I'm such a snob. I was like, there's no way I would let someone else make an important decision like that for me. But in this one situation, it worked out way better than anything I would have picked out for myself.
Nice.
Because I pretty much hate everybody in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'm better than all of them. And so it was really hard for me to find somebody. And I'm also so humble. You know, it's just tough, man. I'm a tough nut to crack.
I'm thinking of fucking the Humble song from Lonely Island. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
I don't know if I have.
It's from the pop star Never Stop, Never Stoppin' movie.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever watched that movie? It's fucking great.
No, it's like a send up of Justin Bieber, basically, right?
Have you ever watched it?
Never Stop, Never Stopping. No.
Please watch it. It is one of the best mockumentary kind of movies you'll ever see.
Have you seen Spinal Tap?
Yes.
I mean that to me is the standard. So
when they get lost going on the stage.
Oh my God, yeah. Hello, Cleveland. I say that anytime I'm lost.
Yeah. Are you a wrestling fan?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not against it. Like I'm not a wrestling anti-fan.
Do you know who Chris Jericho is?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho also has a rock band named Fozzy.
Cool.
Which had a #1 hit. Judas was on the rock songs for a long time, and he had the #1 song in America for a while.
Really?
But anyway, like he loves he loves Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And so like he'll add that shit, and like there's scenes where he gets lost. I gotta show you, but I'll see if you can get this. Like nobody told him to do this. He was just doing his own thing back in the day on WCW. So he's trying to recreate Goldberg's entrance with security, and they get lost on the way to the entrance ramp. They can't find the stage, just like Spinal Tap.
They still have no idea where to go. Arrows on the floor to help him out tonight.
His music's going to the crowd and everything. They went catering.
If in fact that
I need to do my hair like that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's like a fountain of hair. What does he say? Hello, Winston. He's totally sending that scene up, man.
And the announcers are just ad-libbing, like, what the fuck's going on?
Wrong way, Jericho.
And that's his generic music still going because WCW didn't pay for rights. So it's just generic even flow.
They're outside. Yeah.
that's out back. That's right.
This was like 1998 WCW.
This is really sad. This is so sad. Someone get him by the hand. I know someone's back him by the hand and leave the poor lost idiot to the right.
Hello, Winston.
Fucking we talk about that a lot, but like my favorite dramatic actors, I mean fucking Robin Williams. When comedians are cast in dramatic roles, they do the best. They knock it out of the park.
Oh my God, yeah, like
because you can tap into another level. Oh my God.
Or what was the dark movie one where he's up in it never gets, Pacino's in it.
What's the one? Fucking God damn it! It's something Rain or Cloud. Was it What Dreams May Come?
No,
I'm thinking of that one. That was the one I was thinking.
Beauty. That film is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's thinking like there's like an artsy movie. Deconstructing Harry, Father's Day, Hamlet. Jack was fucking creepy. I love Birdcage.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Everybody's brilliant in that movie.
Oh, I fucking love
fucking
Bird
Hank
Cage.
Azaria.
Oh, that's where I first.
Spartacus.
That's where I first loved
Agador
Nathan
Spartacus.
Lane. Nathan, I mean,
Yes.
I love Nathan Lane, but like where I really got to see him as like a standout in a major movie was like The Birdcage, where I'm like, oh yeah,
That
and
line where Robin Williams goes, "No, I just never realized John Wayne walked like that," because he's dead on. I'll find it. It's David.
Yeah.
It's a David Fincher, Robin Williams movie.
Okay, Insomnia.
Insomnia. Yeah. So it's like it takes place so far north that it never turns dark.
Okay,
So it's daylight all the time, and Pacino can't get any sleep, and so he's kind of like losing it a little bit.
I haven't seen it.
It's really good.
Okay,
And
I like David Fincher movies.
And Robin Williams is the bad guy in it, and he's only in it for maybe a total of 10 or 15 minutes.
wow.
Yeah, he's on the phone a little bit, I think, but it's like it's a character a lot like in The Line of Fire, where he's taunting the investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really good.
You ever seen Death to Smoochie?
Hell yeah,
That's a great movie. That's a fantastic movie.
That's another underrated performance from
Edward Norton too.
Edward Norton. Yeah, he's so good in that.
Some people shit on him. Like, I don't like him. Like, they've only seen him in select things, or like a lot of people that shit on Edward Norton only remember him as the MCU first Incredible Hulk in this kind of like.
Yeah, they haven't seen American History X. Then
Fight Club.
Fight Club. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, American History X is kind of this weird movie where, like, in this like pop culture, it's kind of like we talked about with the liberals where they've gone too far a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Where it's like we can't even talk about or show that movie. We can't promote that movie because that's somehow racist. Even though it's like,
right.
Watch that movie. It's
certainly not casting white supremacists in a great light.
No.
Yeah.
Unlike some of our political, never mind.
Yes. Yeah. I think I know where you were going with that.
Yeah, I'm not a proud boy.
I'm a humble boy.
Yeah.
We should start that. We could have our own little shirts. Humble boys.
Humble boys. Yeah, we're so humble. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to show you.
Once when the one thing I've heard about humility is it's the one spiritual principle that once you know you have it, you don't have it anymore.
The whole song is I'm humble.
Okay, I need to see this. Just seeing the cast alone. I think I'm about to blow your mind.
Go ahead.
You know who else is in this movie?
Who?
Imogen Poots.
Yep.
And you know who she is? The Armorer.
Oh, in Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that. She's his love interest.
Oh, she's also in Green Room. Have you seen that?
Haven't seen Green Room.
You want to see Patrick Stewart as a neo-Nazi in Portland? The head of a neo-Nazi murder gang?
Don't I?
I mean, who doesn't? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Green Room. Check it out. You will not be disappointed.
Unlike Patrick Swayze at Donnie Darko.
I know. That is. You want to hear my most embarrassing celebrity moment?
Go ahead.
I followed fucking Richard Kelly into a bathroom at the director's cut screening of Donnie Darko in Seattle at the Seattle Film Festival. I saw him get up to leave to go to the bathroom, and I followed him to the bathroom, and I just said, "I love your work," and I was like, "I'm disgusting. I fucking hate myself." I later saw him at another Q&A and apologized for it.
I think that might be the intro clip.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. That's it. That's my most embarrassing celebrity moment. I'm not proud of it, but I mean, I've got fucking Eddie. I've got the rabbit.
Nice.
And the numbers.
Nice.
Darko. That movie is like.
I'm glad I didn't even know. I was just bringing up the references, man. I love that. I'm a reference kind of comic. Pop culture thing's just very influential. Yeah.
Yeah. Donnie Darko is replete with references. But that's what I was going to say about Patrick Swayze is like, that's Richard Kelly's thing is like bringing back the same thing Tarantino does. Yeah. Bringing back these actors that people have kind of forgotten about. Yeah. And then reminding people how strong their chops are.
Yeah. Well, I was getting that because have you ever watched Better Call Saul?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Michael McKean.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking everybody knows him as comedy and stuff, but god damn, his brother. Oh, that is one of the best villains I've ever seen in a show that's not really a villain, technically.
No, you're absolutely right.
Like, he's just the antagonist of the first 4 seasons, spoiler alert, but like he's really just a masterclass in acting of just subtle nuances and stuff like that, and ego.
Yeah, that was my theme with the gifts I brought you was villains that aren't villains. Because like Stewie is like kind of a hero but a villain, and then the same with Mr. Orange. There's what's more villainous than a cop pretending he's not to be?
Yeah,
not a cop.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucking villainous, man.
That's pretty fucking villainous. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you're aware of the tell he gives himself away at the breakfast scene.
No,
he's the one that rats out Mr. Pink for not tipping. Who didn't throw in?
You're right.
Mr. Pink, he don't believe in it. I didn't ask you. I asked him. That's when he gave himself away. That's when Joe knew.
Damn. That's such
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's a perfect. I mean, that's Tarantino,
Yeah.
man. You can watch a movie of his 15 times and see something and like, oh my God, there's so many layers to it.
People sleep on Jackie Brown so much. I love Jackie Brown. Fucking love Jackie Brown.
That whole scene where he's got Smokey in his trunk. I know it's not Smokey the character, but it's the actor Chris Tucker. It's a callback to Touch of Evil. It's the same scene where you can hear the music and the car drives away and like you see the whole that shot. That's like that's like the player. Like that's an opening shot. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's like there's things in Tarantino movies that are just like you can always see that there are homages to it over and over again in other films and stuff like that. They're so iconic. Like it kind of reminds me of like the Akira slide.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like the Akira slide kind of thing where like you see it and a whole bunch of other things pop up.
Yep.
And it's just that brief homage kind of thing. And like it's honestly, if you really think about it though, most of Tarantino's work is an homage to everything else.
Absolutely. I mean, he worked in a video store.
Yep.
It's like he was born to do exactly what he does, and nobody does it.
Have you been to Go?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you look at it,
it's one of my favorite venues.
Yeah.
I've killed there every time.
Same
and
here.
It's because he brings people that want to fucking hear comedy.
Yes.
It's like they need it in Broken Arrow.
But they have the production already there. The lighting's great.
We got to get that part in the podcast.
Okay.
I mean, shouting out what Gene's doing.
Oh
over
yeah.
there
Well,
he's killing it over there.
And I'll throw this in there because I love Gene to death. The night that I did the open mic, I'm just hosting an open mic and stuff like that. He has the posters up all the movies. My daughter's birthday was that weekend, and I was going to take her to Ninja Turtles because we were getting pumped. She wanted to see the new Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, I was like, hey man, I know you guys occasionally sell those movie posters when you get done with the movies. Let me know about the Ninja Turtles one. I'll buy it for me because my daughter's birthday's this weekend and we're going to see Ninja Turtles. He's like, don't even worry about it. He went and got a ladder out. As we're all leaving, closing down, got a ladder out, went up there, took the fucking poster down, and goes, here, happy birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And just gave my daughter the actual movie big-ass poster, and I have it over there. I'm going to get framed.
That doesn't surprise me, though. I mean, he's that kind of guy, man. He really is.
But that makes those things matter.
And you know what's crazy? Yesterday I was at Jane's Delicatessen in Tulsa. It's closing. And it was like this thing where they put out this message on Facebook that they're closing, and now everybody rallies to them and like, oh, Jane's is closing. And so they're super busy. Yeah. They fucking ran out of food yesterday at lunch. And it's like, it's one of those things where the one of the owners is out there, or one of the managers is talking to me, and he's like, we tried to keep our prices low. We tried to have this like spirit of like, if we do good for people, people will do good for us. And it blew up in their face, right? Yeah. They started to question their own goodness, and like maybe we should have been more cutthroat capitalist pigs about it.
Yeah.
And I think about Gene when I think about that. Like he's a guy who really does operate in that, like if you're good to people, they'll be good to you. Yeah. And for whatever reason, people want him to win. It's like he's one of those guys that I just fucking want this guy to win.
Same.
And he makes me feel like a fucking rock star when I'm there.
Yeah.
It's like he's so generous. He's fucking generous is what he is. And I pray to God that doesn't bite him in the ass and he doesn't have to become jaded or something.
Well, I think he's on the right path because I think Gene has the business acumen to where, and I know we're talking about Gene just candidly here, but like Gene, from what I've seen, also does a very good job of playing it to where it's a teeter-totter. As the economy changes and the prices go up, they have to go with it to just be cost effective. And I think he's going to be, you got to always take that. You got to do your bottom line. And sometimes you just got to make sure you're cost effective. And as long as you're cost effective and making a profit, you can do more leeway on that stuff. And like, one of my things we talked about, I talked with, who did I have yesterday? I had Brian Dixon on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he did a show, and I did the open mic with Gene. I was like, my most important thing is like a headliner or anything I do as a comic. I go to the promoter. I go, did you guys make money tonight? How much did you make at the bar? Did you guys get a profit? Right. And if they say yes, then I feel good. Yeah. I don't care how my performance was. I don't care how the crowd was. Right. Did you make a fucking profit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that means I'm going to get booked again.
Right.
That's it.
You're right.
And it means that you don't regret booking me.
Yes.
And that's the worst thing, because like, it's one thing to not draw a crowd or not draw a profit. It's another thing to have that promoter possibly get a reputation of like you're not going to draw. Right. That's a kiss of death.
Yes.
Not that I'm saying like if anybody offered me a headlining gig, I wouldn't take it in a heartbeat. Right. It's like but you do got to manage those expectations of knowing where your audience is, knowing how to draw it, and knowing how to promote. There's a lot more into this. I mean, we're building a brand.
You're absolutely right.
All of us have to build a brand.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's kind of where this came in. I spent 2 years building the podcast, building the Unloading Meat name, and like getting the website and all that stuff. Like I own UnloadingMeat.com. Like, just like trying to build a whole brand. I talk about it a lot. I really try to influence my comedy. Like to say, I try to not influence, but I try to treat my stand-up comedy and podcasting the same way a professional wrestler would treat their career. When they're on the independent circuit. So professional wrestling and stand-up comedians in comedy are just very similar in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're all doing it from like town to town. They're trying to work on their craft, get the reps in. And a lot of times they're doing it like for the hot dog and the handshake, just trying to do it for the fucking like the name recognition and just trying to get the contacts and networking. And they're doing that. They're building a brand, getting merch, getting a logo, getting all that stuff done to where every time they go to a town, people know that brand. And we talked about with politics.
Yeah.
Same thing. There's lots of people that talk about how Donald Trump was very influenced by like the professional wrestling kind of shit. Like he felt like a wrestling character.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it's like, if you really start to see that, that's how I'm treating my stand-up career. Like I am like, even my flyers when I design stuff and like that, I'm working on like, I'm not gonna shitty on anybody's work, but there's some good and bad flyers in the community.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of flyers really just like, okay, I got a comedy flyer. What's the first thing I need to? Oh, I need to find a brick wall. Oh, I need to find a microphone.
Right.
How many microphones can I throw in this fucking flyer? 5. Cool. And it's like, yes, we get it. It's comedy. I look at professional wrestling flyers. I look at pro boxing flyers.
Right.
Or like match card flyers. And that's my inspiration rather than comedy. I would like to go like that and kind of go inspired by that stuff. And I don't know. Like I just kind of take that different look at it. I like to go into outside the box kind of look at it.
Yeah. It's fun to be creative, figure out what, like I think part of my, as I asked this question earlier of myself, and I still don't really know the full answer, but I know part of like my brand aesthetic is like vintage and retro.
Yeah.
Part of my brand aesthetic is working class, like really kind of anti-bougie, anti-aristocracy, that sort of punk rock.
You look like the kind of guy that would know the key difference between the bands Everlast and Everclear.
Oh, 100%. And, interestingly enough, there's a band called Giovanni and the Hired Guns. You know these guys?
No.
They just played. They opened for my favorite band, Clutch. And they sound like fucking Everclear. They have this really cool 90s sensibility. They're all like Latino family members. Like this drummer, he's my little cousin. Like they know each other, and they're from Fort Worth. And they're just really cool dudes. And I got a chance to be backstage because my other friend, who I'm seeing tonight play, is in a band called Punkadelic that was opening for Clutch as well. So it was just 2 openers. And so I got to be backstage and meet these guys, but they're just super cool. And it was another one of those things where it's like, I've always said the most punk rock thing you can be is nice. People are always talking about like punkers are angry and like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You can be angry. You can be like over it and like too cool for school.
It's so funny that you're not a wrestling fan, but like if you knew what's going on in wrestling right now, there's a guy named CM Punk.
Yeah,
who just got fired from his company AEW with cause for causing a backstage fight, and he's just like it's like that Dave Chappelle skit of like when keeping it real goes wrong, like you just keeping it real too much.
Yeah. Keeping it too real.
Yeah,
keeping it surreal. Yeah. Keeping it is real.
He's straight edge and very in punk, and like I have his autograph on the wall there, and I'm a big CM Punk fan. I'm a huge fan. But 2 times there's been in the last year where he's gotten backstage fights with people, and like it's one of those things where like people will do stuff and just do like talk trash, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like very aggressive behind the scenes. Like, you want to go? Like, we'll just start the fight right here. We'll just end it here.
Right. But he's just trying to get press. Yeah. I mean, that I'm cynical. I don't even know the guy, but that's my hunch.
So this happened last 2 weeks ago. So AEW is my company I love. It's the counter to WWE. It's a newer company. They've only been resisting for like 4 years. And they're very counterculture, very like, they started from the indie wrestling scene and they kind of blew up. Yeah. They're on TNT and TBS now. In 4 years, they've grown to the point where in August they sold out Wembley Stadium. 81,000 people. They're the first. They have the record for the highest wrestling gate in history, and it's not WWE.
Wow.
Yeah, they beat them.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's insane. At that show of 81,000 people, there was a pre-show. And there's this character named Jungle Boy. You can see the little green box behind me. There's a thing called Jungle Express. It's like his character, his books, or his figures. Jungle Boy had a match on the pre-show, and apparently a couple weeks ago, there was this thing where he wanted to do a pre-match segment where he wanted to use glass.
Yeah.
And at the last second, CM Punk, who was like the locker room leader behind the scenes, was like, nah, we're not letting you use real glass. Use fake glass. It's just a fucking pre-match segment. So that happened behind the scenes, and that kind of got public. People were like, "Oh, they're having a little internal war behind the scenes." At Wembley during the pre-show, Jack Jungle Boy has this spot in the match where he's on a limo.
Yeah.
And he punches the limousine glass and he goes, "It's real glass, cry me a river." And he did that live into the camera, like not pre-planned or anything, just to be like, fuck you to that guy on the pre-show. CM Punk is getting ready for his opening match on the actual main show of 81,000 people. He's behind the curtain right there.
Right.
So Jungle Boy does that live on camera and calls him out like that. Match ends, he goes back there. The show's getting ready to start, this 81,000 historic pay-per-view. CM Punk goes right up into him, and they get into a war of words.
Yeah, yeah.
And he puts Jungle Boy in a headlock and chokes him out. Then goes out for his fucking match.
Wow.
In front of 81,000 people and has like a 30-minute match. And that's his last match ever because then he got suspended and fired. Because he was just like, "You want to go right now?" Like right before your fucking match and everything. He's just like, "You want to go?" And choked the dude out.
Right.
And it's just like, dude, like you just kept it real. Like he was just like, it was too much.
Right.
Yeah. And this dude, like, yeah, it's kind of probably ruined his career. Like he's fired. I mean, he was the biggest star. And yeah,
you got, I mean, and that's the thing. It's the same thing we were talking about earlier about the difference between like the pushing the envelope as a comic and also knowing where restraint is, you know, and that goes back to what you were saying about Gene. It's like, that's part of being savvy in business is knowing when you can take a risk and when you have to play it safe, you know? And I think that's true in life. I think that there's, you know, I think, you know, risk versus reward is an internal negotiation. We always have to be like really weighing. Well, yeah, a lot of people want a clubhouse.
Yeah.
They want kind of their own little like cliquey vibe thing.
Yeah.
And it's really about, well, I mean, some people want to be adjacent to greatness. They don't want to achieve greatness, but they want to be near it.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll settle for that. And I think that's what distinguishes Gene is you can see his humble beginnings and you can also see the trajectory.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can actually see where he's going with that. And I can envision his dream fully realized and it's a fucking entertainment empire.
Yeah.
And I want him to have that, man.
I do say though, he has Jack of all shows. He just needs to have Go Jack and have a nudie booth.
Oh, absolutely.
Just Go Jack.
Yeah. Jack off all shows.
Jack of all shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
100%. I'm going to start jacking off in his shows. I mean,
just do a Paul Rubens.
It's the least I could do. It's the you know.
Rest in peace.
I mean,
Paul.
it really
Pee-wee.
is the least I can do. I mean, like barely any hand motion, hardly any.
A real Pee-wee.
Yeah, total. Yeah, my dick, it may not be very big around, but it really is short.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
One of my friends said that to me when I got my car wreck. He was like, "Hey, look on the bright side. At least you got that fat dick." And I was like, "Nah, it's more like a tuna can."
That's the benefit of losing weight. Your dick looks bigger by comparison.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a win.
You sold me on it already.
I'll take them where I can get it.
I say my dicks look like a tuna can. It's round and it smells like your mother.
Yeah.
And it comes in bulk.
Yeah. I miss my mother's smell.
Oh. Everything's a fucking reference now to wrestling now. I just got like literally before you came here, there's a wrestler named Christian Cage. And he's kind of a meme right now because his famous thing now is they keep pairing him with wrestlers whose dads have died. And he purposely goes out of his way in his promos to be like, "So I heard you had a dad." Keyword had, or like he leans into it and the crowd's like, "Oh!" So Jungle Boy, the guy I was talking about.
Yeah.
His name is Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He's the son of Luke Perry from 90210.
Wow.
His dad died like a year before he went pro.
Wait, Luke Perry died?
Luke Perry died, yeah.
Okay, do you know I was on stage at the fucking whatever that new comedy club, Bricktown Comedy Club?
Yeah.
Brick. I mean, you got to have a brick in the name.
Yeah.
And
your mouth sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was on stage commenting how it was unfair that they had a picture of Betty White next to all these dead comics.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "She died too." And I'm like, I'm finding out in real time on stage that Betty White died. And like, rather than dealing with the grief of it, I'm more dealing with the embarrassment of like just not being in on a very strong cultural reference.
Yeah.
But it's like, she was the Keith Richards of like comedy,
Yeah.
you know, like I figured she was going to outlive me.
Yeah.
So like, it was a lot to take in. I'm still processing
Now
it,
the closest thing to Betty White we have is like Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
As far as like this wholesomeness of like people in the pop culture.
And she is so fucking wholesome.
Yep.
You know what? I love that word. I'm bringing that word back. When I describe the sober bar, I use that word wholesome.
Wholesome.
And because I think that like wholesome doesn't mean no profanity necessarily, but wholesome, implies like wholeness. Like, yeah, it's not missing anything. You know? I don't know. I like the word wholesome. I want to reclaim, like it's going to be my N word. I'm taking wholesome. I'm taking wholesome back from the breakfast cereals. Because like breakfast cereal,
the W word.
Yeah,
wow,
it's the W word, the H word.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's a homonym.
We just started talking about the thumbs earlier.
Yeah, Tums.
The H word.
The old silent H.
The
Fuck
H word.
That silent H.
The
You know
silent H.
what it's called when two letters make a new sound?
Gay?
Dip. It's gonna sound gay. It's called a diphthong. A diphthong. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I remember that because like we used to joke about in English, like, you get your diphthong for your assonance.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like what you wear to the beach.
Yeah.
You wear a nice diphthong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to joke about that. Because like the worst thing that our teacher did in English was give this guy like an English slang dictionary, and like he was going through all these like literary terms and stuff like that. So we like diphthong and like we hear assonance, a diphthong on your assonance.
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Do you hear that? There's an ice cream truck.
Yeah, ice cream truck.
There's an ice cream truck go by.
Ice cream man.
Our inner fat kids all both came out. Like, oh.
Absolutely.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. And I know you're probably wondering, probably thinking to yourself, man, this ad break looks and sounds an awful lot like the other one, but without the hat. And you know what? You're a little right. But you're also forgetting that I changed glasses. Nice. Anyway, if you're tired of these fake ads, reach out to your favorite companies like Raid Shadow Legends. Tell them to sponsor this podcast, Unloading Meat, and we'll get back to the show. Well, talk about your show. So, talk about your new show that you're getting ready to do.
So, the show that we're working on for October is for Sober October. Recently at the Circle Cinema, a couple of comics on the same night that I was performing, coincidentally, mentioned that they're sober. And, I think that that's something that you're seeing more in just the public sector. People talking about mental health. You're very transparent about your struggles. I try to be transparent about, I'm diagnosed ADHD, depression, take medication for both those things and for anxiety. And I'm also 21 years sober. And, I'm sober because I'm not able to smoke cannabis reverently. I'm not able to smoke it without it becoming kind of like a focal point, and like the rest of my life kind of becomes blurry. And the cannabis, like you're productive in smoke. I can't. My history with cannabis is that I can't do that. And then the same thing with drinking. Like drinking and cocaine, like it's just like all that stuff for me. And in the comic world, it's such a nightlife oriented kind of thing. Yeah, right?
And 9 times out of 10 they're at a bar.
At a bar.
Yeah.
So what my vision is for a venue that has the positive things of a bar, nightlife, late night hours, that cool kind of vibrant energy, a lot like Starlight. I think Starlight's the perfect example of like a neighborhood bar that's like super inclusive. It's a safe space, not in the cliche way, but like in a genuine way. And then, they have the adjacent room where they can do music, they can do private events.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a sober bar. So the idea, and this is another thing Starlight does really well, they have a lot of mocktails, they have a lot of sober or a lot of non-alcoholic beer offerings and other non-alcoholic spirits.
Yeah.
So the concept is straight edge lounge, and so ultimately it'll be a brick and mortar. I've been looking at property along 11th Street in Tulsa, and I've got a couple of possibilities, and so that's long term. So for the short term, I'm doing pop-ups each month. I have one going this month, and then in October we're doing a pop-up at Noisetown.
Nice.
And the whole idea is to have some sober comics come out and do a sober comedy show, and then I actually have on the flyer wholesome weirdness, and so the idea is like I'm Christian, but my daughter's pagan, so it's like I know that like it's like Brett Jeffries. I love her joke about she's a trans woman, but she waited until her 30s to come out because she can fucking read a room, and she lives in Oklahoma, right? You know, so like I'm a Christian, but I also know how loaded that term is, right? And my daughter's pagan, and I celebrate her right to have her own path. And, and I think likewise as a sober person, you know, I'm terrified that people are going to think I'm like preachy about it. And it's like, no, this is a choice I made for me. If you're able to smoke cannabis and make it work, man, fucking yes. Yeah. I'm cheering you on. Like I want everybody to have their freedom of choice. So this is not about pushing sobriety as a lifestyle. It's just about presenting an option for people that maybe struggle with it. Somebody that's like 30 days sober, a bar might be a really dangerous place for them. And so I'd like them to have an alternative. And so that's really kind of the trajectory of where I'm going with it.
Dude, I love the idea. It's very inspirational. It's like, dude, hats off to you, man. Thank you. Literally, that's an amazing idea. That's a great idea. And like, there's so much talent. I mean, not that I mean, he's very open with Jacob Hatfield. I just had him on the podcast. Like,
exactly.
Dude, like that dude is a rock star, and like I would hate to happen if like he didn't get sober and like didn't, you know, change his life. Like, dude, like there's so much talent there.
Exactly.
And I love that you're giving a venue for people to show off that. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, everybody needs to have their own voice. Everybody needs to have their own way of relating to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Representation's important.
100%.
Representation is so important.
And there may be a comic out there that's thinking about getting sober but doesn't want to because they don't want to be branded, or they don't want to feel like the odd person out, right? You know, Lacey Rains, when she talked about being sober, she doesn't love it, man. Like she's not somebody that's cheering about sobriety, and she talks about it in her act, you know, and it's like, I think all voices need to be heard about that conversation, and the people that can moderate, you know, like. I know people that have left AA and learned how to moderate their alcohol use, and like I know a lot of people that are sober that are threatened by that because it makes them question their own path. Yeah, but it's like I'm like, if you figured out your own truth, you know, truth is everybody's journey toward truth is, you know, some people find it at 30, some people find it at 60. You know, like everybody's finding their who their identity is at different stages in life.
Well, you really start to figure out like later in life that how true those character sheets were in D&D, where like you fucking have your stats and everybody has different stats.
Yeah, you're absolutely
everybody
right.
has fucking different stats, and there's going to be things where, oh, he can take more alcohol than you, or he can moderate better than you because your body's used to a different something like that. Just different stats, different people.
We ought to do a chaotic neutral Tulsa Comics sheet. Yep. Where we have like all of the alignments. So who would you be as a Tulsa comic? Who?
Oh fuck. I don't know.
I want to think I'm chaotic good. Maybe chaotic neutral.
I'm leaning more chaotic neutral.
Because
I have to be chaotic.
Yeah. Me too. So maybe we'll both be identified as chaotic neutral.
Because my thing is, and I talked about it on the podcast, I have a hard time with either two things. I have a hard time, especially post therapy and post everything.
Yeah.
I can't stand bullies. Like anything bullying or like that, it just fucking sets me off. And then if there's a rule that I can question, or I can be like, why does this rule exist, or this is stupid, I have to call it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to fuck with it. It's in my nature to fuck with it.
I think that's the nature of a comic, is that something, it's like do you know how a pearl becomes a pearl? It starts off as a grain of sand that's like irritating. Yeah. It's like that's why I think comics have that. Like there's something about like the splinter in your mind, like what Morpheus says, you know, in the Matrix. Something gets under your skin and then you have to fucking talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why. I mean, also there's. Go ahead.
Speaking of which, this is why I said remind me about darkness later.
Darkness, everybody.
So as I was pulling through Bartlesville, there's this feature on Spotify called the AI DJ. Do you know about this feature?
Yes, I love it.
So does yours have a black voice?
Yeah, it's like a black male.
Does it say, "What's up, Jared? How you doing, man?" Like it's like trying to be. Yes, I love it. The kids like it when I get down verbally.
Yeah, it's like it talks in ebonics.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So my fucking AI DJ, I maybe revealed a truth about me that I wasn't really ready to see, and so it was playing the great jams all the way up from Tulsa. It's a nice 1 hour drive, and I'm listening to the AI. The AI is like, "We're gonna go into your metal songs next, Jeff, and I think it's gonna be great." And then right as I'm turning the corner to come down your street, he goes, "Now we're going to get into a whole new vibe." And that vibe, and I'm not kidding, I had to fucking write it down because I don't want to say it wrong. He fucking said this. and that vibe is dark Appalachian folk. And the first song was called Conversation with Death, and it was the origin of that song from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Where he's like, oh, death.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, death. And it's a song about, I haven't surrendered my life to Jesus, and so I'm going to burn in hell.
Fuck.
And there's no music. It's just vocals. It's... Yes. It was so fucking awkward. I was like, I both want to hear all of this dark Appalachian folk, and I'm terrified that I'm about to go on a comedy podcast, and this is the vibe that my fucking AI DJ wants to drag me through, kicking and screaming. So dark Appalachian folk.
Now you got me wanting to know. I want to put it on. I want to put it on the mic too, so people can hear it.
Yeah, but, the DJ.
I want to hear what it does.
What's up, Jared? How you doing today?
Let's see. Make sure it's not on my fucking DJ.
Hey, what's going on? I'm your DJ X. Hope you're feeling good. I'm going to start you off with some of your top songs from the past few months. Action Bronson up first.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm a big Action Bronson guy.
Yeah, my shit would be like, we're going to start off with one of your favorites. Some Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone.
I like everything. I'm open to everything.
Same
I'll go rap.
I don't have guilty pleasures.
No, if it's not DJ, most of my time, my thing's on Spotify Shuffle.
All right, let's see. Let's see where he's going to take us next.
Up next, some music from an artist you've been feeling quite a bit these days. Here's Electric Six.
Nice.
I'm seeing them next week in Wichita.
Nice.
Do you know Electric Six?
No, I don't, but I'm going to add them now.
They have you've probably heard the song Gay Bar. Yo, I want to take you to a gay bar.
Oh, yeah.
I want to take you to a gay bar. Speaking of which, you've got to find the video of George W. Bush and Tony Blair. They've mashed up the video to make it look like they're singing that song to each other, and then it creates all these little homoerotic moments between them where they're just kind of like looking at each other.
I didn't think we could get a Tony Blair reference on this fucking podcast.
Yeah, I like to go with the deep cuts, man.
Nice.
That's when you get a 57 or when you, 57. When you got a 57 on your person or podcast, you're going to get these old references.
I need about 350.
Trifete. Yeah.
Wait till our fucking DJ on Spotify starts sounding like that.
Yeah. I want choices like I have with Siri.
Yeah.
And I think I definitely want a girl that's doing a vocal fry.
The Valley Girl.
Vocal fry. When I learned what that was, I started hearing it everywhere, and I was like, I weep for the future.
Yeah.
When we get to your questions, that's one of the questions I have.
That's fine. Those are just girls that don't swallow.
Girls that don't swallow.
That's why their voices don't,
Did they just hold it?
Yeah,
Do they spit?
Probably spit.
I've never seen a girl spit, and I don't want to.
I've seen one do it.
I've seen them where they just kind of let it like drip down. That's fucking hot.
That's fucking hot.
That's fucking hot, man.
Yeah. Oh, clean up on aisle me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, fuck.
How long has it been since you've been laid? Are you willing to say on air?
Full laid or blowjobs?
Full laid.
About a month.
A month.
Yeah.
You want to hear my number? 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I copped to it in a recent go live on Facebook, and I said it was not always like I was talking about the straight edge culture and how like for some of them like sexual purity is part of that.
Yeah.
And but it's not like waiting till marriage, because I'm sure most straight edge punks are like not the institution of marriage is also part of the big rig game, and I don't necessarily think they're wrong, but like for me part of being overweight was part of that armor protecting myself from that. Yeah. And like I recently, when I came back from my little comedy hiatus, I was performing at Whittier Bar, and Laura Cook was there, and I was talking about, as I'm losing weight, I'm starting to think of myself as like almost fuckable. Yeah. And she goes, "Aw," it was the sweetest thing. And she's like, "You're totally fuckable." And I was just like, it was such a self-esteem builder, you know? But like it is crazy how our image is tied into validation in that way, you know? And so I think for me, when I see an area where I'm like driven by validation, I immediately want to conquer that. Like I don't always do it well. Like there's times where I like really would love to cuddle or spoon, you know, like, or whatever. And I just, that hasn't, I've been also in a 6-year relationship that I just got out of a year ago.
Yeah.
With somebody that was not at all affectionate, you know? And so I'm definitely like feeling that desert.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an open appeal for sex. Yeah.
We're just gonna cut this, and it's gonna be like one of those VHS videotapes that you send in for the dating back in the day.
Well, you could sing the "In the Arms of an Angel."
Yeah, that was me singing.
Jeff wants to be in the arms of an angel.
So you saw my SPCA commercial.
Oh, I did, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I couldn't figure out. It was playing on another. I have both Safari and Chrome open at the same time. I couldn't find the window that was playing, and I was listening to music earlier, and it was going in the background, and I couldn't find it, and then I realized it was you. I was like, okay, now I hate it a lot. I hate it a little less.
Yeah.
I hate it a little less.
Yeah, that was me doing the singing and everything.
Man, Sarah McLachlan better fucking watch out.
I know.
You're coming for her shit.
Oh. I was like, how cringy can I make this fucking thing?
You fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
It was so cringy, I almost had to kill myself.
It was like, how cringy can I make it and not get copyright struck? That was literally what I did.
Yeah. Can I get close enough that the algorithm won't see what I'm doing, but at the same time, yeah.
So what I did is I pulled up a karaoke track of an acoustic version of the instrumental.
Nice.
And did that, and then I clipped it, and then I modified it, and then I sang over that.
Please tell me you chopped and screwed it.
Possibly.
You did. Do you know the origin of chopped and screwed?
No.
Do you know about it?
No.
So it's when it's originated in Houston hip hop.
Okay.
And it's when they take a beat and then they slow it way down. So like they take a fast track and then slow it down. And so it gets deeper and it gets slow enough that you can rap over it.
Yeah.
And there's a DJ, and I'm embarrassed. I'm losing all of my hip hop cred as I tell this story. I kind of don't have cred, and I'm okay with that. But he had a cough syrup. It was a cold brew coffee company that released a limited. He died of a fucking cough syrup overdose, and they released a limited edition like Robitussin in his honor with his name. Oh, it's DJ Screw. That's where it came from. Chopped and Screwed. That's why he was DJ Screw. And
wow.
So yeah, I somewhere have the fucking limited edition cold brew unopened. It's another mint in box. That's my sort of my.
We're okay with that custom bottle, but not a Bud Light.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, not a Bud Light. Bud Light sucks for other reasons, but not for that.
Yeah,
not for that.
Ugh.
I mean, a very, very, very attractive trans woman, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, very.
And I'm not going to even qualify that. Very, very attractive woman. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stewie and I have questions for you.
Get this queued up. Oh, yeah.
Is that all you got?
Is that all you got?
So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, everybody. It's time for my guest questions. Jeff.
Guest questions!
With some amazing questions that I have not heard beforehand, guys. You're going to get my candid responses.
Well, Sting and Stewie and I have some questions for you.
Ooh.
The first one, what is your favorite origin story? It can be of a character. It can be of a thing that really exists. It can be fictional. It can be real. What's your favorite origin story?
Great question. Ooh. I mean, favorite. Wow, that's going to be... That is a fucking toughie. God damn it.
All right, do you want to pause on that one?
Yeah,
we'll go to an
pause
easier
it.
one?
Yeah, go. Yeah, I want to think. That's a thinker.
Yeah, well, here. We'll go with an easier one.
Okay.
What do you think of the trajectory of our current culture? Something light.
Something light.
Something light, you know.
I think we're going to eventually have the bubble pop.
Yeah.
I think something's going to hit a precipice. I don't think it's going to be a full-fledged civil war or anything like that.
Right.
But there's too many conflicting ideals and too much unknown as far as like in like speculation with press and like, you know, just all this stuff. It's just a cesspool of stuff that's eventually going to hit a head.
Yeah, the polarity is just too polarized.
I don't think we're going to go full on V for Vendetta as the outcome afterwards, but I think we're going to hit a head at some point. Whether it be gun resolution or like just the now, like there's so much layers to it, but yeah, it's gonna eventually hit a head. Something's gonna be the crux, where it's gonna be like the new 9/11, where like we remember is that the moment in time where something changed.
Yeah. Well, you think about like I actually thought the George Floyd stuff in 2020 was was going to be a tipping point.
Had it not been for COVID, possibly.
I think you're absolutely right. And maybe murder hornets.
Yeah.
Maybe they kept us on our best behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Coen brothers or Wes Anderson? Like, you got to choose one.
Coen.
Yeah, same.
I have to go Coen.
I love it. I love Wes Anderson's aesthetic, but and
Wes Anderson's just that quirky guy that I love that's doing his own thing, and it's like you can obviously tell. I mean, you can tell a Coen brother movie right away too. But like, fuck, Coen brothers.
Yeah,
all day.
I don't want to live in a universe that doesn't have Big Lebowski and Raising Arizona in it. I just don't.
Fuck, even though they're not directly involved, the Fargo show. Like, they inspired the Fargo show.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that mythos is just amazing. Like, even that, like,
brilliant.
I love Fargo. I
rewatched it recently. I mean, Margie, she's such a great character. I mean,
like, having female heroes back in the day. Like, back in the day, it was like, I remember Fargo and I remember Alien.
I think that was her idea too. That Frances McDormand said she wanted to be pregnant.
Yeah,
she thought like, hey, I think this will make it.
It's fucking great.
The vulnerability of that. Yeah, it's like she doesn't have a whisper of vulnerability. Like, even the scene where she throws up in the snow, it's like she somehow does that and comes off like a badass.
Well, and it's like we go back to relatability, and it's like the more relatable you can have stuff being, and like the more quaintness, the more that when something jarring happens, it impacts. It's the difference.
You're right, absolutely.
So like when you have the wood chipper scene and stuff like that, it's so jarring because you're not supposed to have that in that setting.
And she says that at the end. She's so sweet that she was like, I guess that was your accomplice there in the wood chipper.
Yep.
Don't you know that?
Don't you know?
Oh, so sweet. Okay.
Question.
Favorite origin story?
Wait, fuck. It's definitely not Bruce Wayne.
No. I'm so kicked in the nuts by that story over and over repeatedly.
Over and over again.
I don't need to see any more pearls dropping to the ground.
I mean, I have a Nightcrawler tattoo because he's my favorite Marvel character.
Okay.
Right here. I love his story of like I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
But I always loved that I identify with Nightcrawler growing up because like he was. If you look at Marvel, the most religious people in it are Matt Murdock and Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And Nightcrawler was persecuted from the time he was born just because of the way he looks.
Right.
And people like would have pitchforks and stuff like that and try to kill him because he looks like the fucking devil.
Yeah.
And he's the most religious like quote unquote Christian that you would ever see, and it was like was like a pacifist and stuff like that until he was forced to.
That's such an interesting. I never saw the connection between Daredevil and Nightcrawler until you said that. That's really interesting.
And it's two different point of views of Christianity too.
Exactly. So well, I used to work at this club in Tulsa called Icon. It was an industrial kind of dark, new wave kind of place in the 90s. And a guy came through and he was doing a documentary on the Bible Belt. And he was talking about how in all these Bible Belt cities he visited, the stronger the religious oppression, the more developed the punk and industrial music scene was. And so it's like I always think of that line when somehow Princess Leia becomes British and she's talking to Grand Moff Tarkin, and she says, "The more you tighten your grip, the more galaxies will slip through your fingers."
Yeah,
and that's that whole preacher's daughter thing. That's why preachers' daughters are the trope is that they're always sluts, because the more you try to fucking suppress something, the more you create it.
And God, how true it was! I met so many preachers.
And they're so hot.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing hotter than naughty. I mean, naughty is. I can't get attracted to healthy women. It's like bad girls all day long, man.
I just think of the Amish Paradise video whenever the guys are the Amish kids are looking at the porno, and it's just like her holding up to her knee, and they're like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I have a Amish strip club bit that I do where I talk about you got to be really patient because it's a lot of fucking buttons to get undone. And then they treat the butter churn like a stripper pole. You got to watch out for splinters. There's a lot of layers to that. My favorite origin story for some reason is Silver Surfer.
Really? Okay.
The whole idea that he's willing to go to that extreme.
Yeah.
I wrote a poem one time about a girlfriend, and I said, I will burn down the world so that the fire can keep you warm. And it's this idea of like natural born killers, how like in the pursuit of love, we will become grotesque.
Yeah.
And I think that he, as Galactus's herald, to try. I mean, because he tells himself it's about his planet.
Yeah.
But it's really about his woman.
Yeah.
And I just think that
I wish that
it's super relatable.
I wish that cartoon series would have went more than one season on like at
It
Fox
was
Kids.
so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that shitty era of animation, but it was very Stan Lee. It was very much like, in the Jack Kirby thing.
Yep.
That's why I loved my tattoo artist even more when I told him, he said, what do you want to do to tie it all together? And I said, I want Kirby Crackle. And he goes, what color? Like, I didn't have to explain what Kirby Crackle was.
Yeah.
And I was like, he gets me. He really gets me.
Oh, let's go ahead and put it back to there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see the difference, don't you?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, and then also like no light if I do this.
Wow.
It hurts the quality of the podcast so much.
You have like a Dr. Evil level of power with that fucking phone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, once again, your humility, you just wear it well.
Well, it's one of those things where like all of this had to come out of I could get nobody. I could never rely on anybody.
Yeah.
I had a roommate at one point that I couldn't even get him to be like the Jamie behind the curtain. Like,
right.
You've seen some of my episodes. We're friendly now. Have you seen my references to Stefano? Have you seen clips?
I have seen references. I don't know who that is.
Stefano is my executive producer.
Okay.
And
well, that's why Jared won't leave Bartlesville, because Stefano won't leave Bartlesville, and Stefano's essential. I mean, Jared hates him, but there's a lot of things Jared couldn't get done without Stefano. It also, when I talk about Straight Edge Lounge, like to any media, I always say we.
Yeah.
Like
it helps.
Part of how we came up with this vision is, and that goes back to, I was hosting a Woody Guthrie tribute, and Woody Guthrie's family was there. It was at Kane's Ballroom. This was years ago. And I was saying when I first started talking about, what an honor it was.
Yeah.
And Lee Chapman, the biological father of my stepson, Casper, who Lee killed himself. He's a drug addict and unfortunately killed himself. But he, super positive vibes. He said, say we.
Yeah.
He said you'll get a lot more mileage from it, and it won't feel so self-centered.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely right. It was like probably one of the best pieces of small advice I've gotten about a stage persona and like hosting an event, things like that.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. There's a lot of intentionality behind what you're doing, and I really respect it.
I want to show, not tell. I don't, like that, and I don't want to. I don't know. I just, again, try to not be humble about it. Legit.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing you could possibly do is be like, look at this thing I made. I put so much work into this. You guys should watch this. Why aren't you watching this? And you get jaded about it because nobody's watching it, shit like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, like,
effort doesn't dictate good product.
Well, and I was going to say, true G's move in silence like lasagna.
Ooh.
That's a fucking Lil Wayne lyric, and it's probably one of the best rap lyrics of all time.
Put a pin in best rap lyrics because I have my favorite rap lyric of all time. I'm so glad you brought up lasagna because it's my favorite thing to make. I am a great lasagna maker. Even on my TikTok, I was like self-professed greatest lasagna. Like, I love making lasagnas.
We ought to have a lasagna off.
We should.
What were we watching earlier that talked about having a favorite food? Oh, his apple crumble.
Yeah.
His apple crumble is so good.
Yeah.
So I haven't figured out how to work this into my bit yet, but I make hummus.
Ooh.
And my hummus is so good. How good is it? It's so good. A guy took credit for it at a party.
Damn.
And I caught him. So he got there early when I was describing the ingredients to the people that were there. I lived in the house where we were hosting this big party. And it was the big Halloween party. No, it was the big 4th of July party. We had a great view of the fireworks. This is when I lived in Seattle. Over Lake Union, and so we had this like big party. I was new to town. I didn't know a lot of people, but my roommates were like super social, and they knew a bunch of people. And so this guy comes over, and he happened to be in the room when I was describing the hummus. So later on in the party, I'm upstairs, and I hear these two women behind me talking, and they're like, something, the guy that made the hummus. And so I'm like, oh, they're talking about me, and they don't even know I'm here. Like, I'm thinking it's all cool. And then I turn around, and I don't recognize either of them. And I'm like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you guys mentioned the guy that made the hummus. And they were like, yeah, he's got curly hair. And it's like, I made the hummus. And he goes, no. He was like describing what was in it. Like, he knew, like he made the hummus. He could tell me all the ingredients that were in it. And I immediately knew who they were talking about. And I knew that he was there with his girlfriend. So not only was he taking credit for my hummus, he was trying to get laid, cheating on his girlfriend by taking credit for my hummus. So that's how fucking good my hummus is. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That's yeah. Fuck you, Sabra.
So yeah, you're exactly Sabra who? It's more like a Sabra story.
You need to put some more roasted garlic in your shit, man. Don't give me that little drop. Like, fuck.
Well, yeah, exactly. The roasted garlic hummus is pretty fucking fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. The trick for me, I'll just say it. It's the balance between cumin and tahini.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't and tamari. You got to use tamari and not soy sauce. That you don't put any salt in it. You use soy sauce or tamari for the salt.
That's a good trick.
Those are all it's
because I use soy sauce in my cooking to like a replacement for salt to help with that, so you don't oversalt something. Or
exactly.
And soy sauce, oyster sauce, stuff like that to help the umami flavors when you're cooking.
Yeah.
Make stuff beefier. Make stuff taste so much better.
Yeah, it's more satisfying.
Yeah.
Like that. Like the hummus with the tamari in it tastes like you're eating meat. It's like you don't feel like, oh, I need some real protein. No, it's totally funny.
Yeah.
Totally enough. Now I'm hungry for hummus.
Yeah, we were talking about rap lyrics. My favorite rap lyric is from an Action Bronson song, but it's featuring Mayhem Lauren, his partner, his friend.
Yeah.
And he comes into this song, and he says, "Suicidal doors, bipolar necklaces." And that line, if you really just deconstruct it, it's like, that's fucking clever as fuck.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you can like. You could take it about 15 different directions.
Yes.
There's like, it's got layers to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so good to like come into a song. Oh, I love it. I just like it. I love it. It sticks in my mind.
Yeah. I had to have the lyric, the true G's move in silence like lasagna.
Yeah.
I had to have that pointed out to me, but like, I'm a language nerd.
Yeah.
And so like when you like, weave a language reference into poetry. It's like Ouroboros. It's like self-referential, and I just love it.
It's still like my favorite roast to this day from when I did the Insult Tech like a couple months ago. I was facing a guy named what's his name, Tommy York Jr. He looks long haired and kind of like Jesus. I said he looked like Wayland Gentrification.
Oh, that's solid, man.
And that's my favorite. Like,
that's chef's kiss.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah,
You gotta be. That's that sweet spot, that balance of humility, where I think you've got to be able to know when you've crushed it too. Like humility is a great principle to be, aspiring toward.
Yeah.
But to me, it's always a moving target. Like I never am going to get there.
Yeah.
Because once you know you're there, you're not there anymore.
Oh man, that was so humbling doing Insult Tech because like I've won that, and then like last time I lost, and then like. There's something like I'm a reference comic. I like to write references and roast stuff like that. So like I'm making shitload of references stuff like that.
Who do you think is the best reference comic of all time?
Oh fuck, I don't know on that part of it. I don't know who would be the best reference. I
don't know if I can. I don't know if
this
it's more
like who I'm influenced by.
Yeah,
it's like people like Jimmy Fallon or people like that like comedy albums that do like parodies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you heard Dennis Miller's old stuff before he became a Fox News weirdo?
Early stuff a little bit, yeah.
He has my favorite reference joke of all time is he's talking about Adrian's Med. Do you know who that is? It was a Solid Gold dancer. He was also the cousin of Danny Zuko in Grease 2.
Okay.
The Solid Gold was like this weird variety show in the
Solid Gold
80s. Yeah, exactly. And it had all these like really gross 80s sensibilities that still smacked a little bit of the 70s kind of sexual revolution stuff. And he says, Adrian's Med, that guy's quite a hoofer. I haven't seen choreography that stiff since the Lee Harvey Oswald prison transfer. And I was like, fuck.
God.
That is like,
damn.
That is like ruthless and perfect.
Yeah.
That's a fucking mic drop. That's the original mic drop line for me. It's really good.
I love shit like that. Yeah, before he went Fox News, but like, one of my favorites will always be Norm. Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Just like the balls on him to like get fired from SNL because he wouldn't stop doing the OJ.
Michael Jackson.
OJ jokes.
The OJ jokes and Michael Jackson. I mean, the same thing.
Michael Jackson.
Because he fucks kids.
Yeah.
Like, and I always say, it's another Ouroboros thing. It's funny because it's not funny.
Yeah.
I say jokes are always funnier when you explain them.
Yeah.
And like they're not, but they also are.
Well, I was getting like the OJ Simpson stuff was like he was threatened and like they were told stop doing these because the head of NBC was friends with O.J. Simpson during that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were told don't do them, and he would go on Weekend Update and just do them.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, this is funny. This is what everybody's talking about. You can't just censor one channel because like it's what's going on.
Have you heard the story about him and Patton Oswalt when Patton Oswalt first did a big headline show in San Francisco? So Norm Macdonald was headlining. Patton Oswalt was still pretty much kind of an upstart comic.
Yeah.
And they're driving up to San Francisco together from L.A. And he's like, well, tell me a little bit about your bit, And so he starts telling some of his jokes, and he had an AIDS joke in there. He goes, man, do not do an AIDS joke.
Yeah.
It's not going to go over well. And it's like, okay. So he's like, shit, that's like a lot of my act. And so like Patton has to like rewrite some shit, and he's like all nervous. And then as soon as Norm comes out,
talks about AIDS.
Yeah. First thing, hey, how about that AIDS, huh?
Okay, I remember this. Yeah.
Oh my. It's like that's fucking Norm Macdonald to a T.
One of my favorite Norm things is on his album, the one with the Fantastic Four and Tex Hooper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The hidden track. If you listen, I mean, he like even talks about. He's like, they told me I had to have a hidden track, and I'm like, what's that? It's a song. After the album's done, there's a little bit more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he has this whole bit about Star Search. And it's this bit that doesn't work, and he puts it as a hidden track, and it's just him doubling down on saying the word Star Search over and again. I don't know if you've heard it or not.
I haven't.
It's a great bit. It's him dissecting Star Search, and if you know what Star Search is, everybody knows. Yeah. I think they're bringing it back now, even again. Now
they won't have Ed McMahon in there.
No.
So it won't be Star Search.
They'll fucking hologram him like Adam Levine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I fucking love that. That's the thing is like he's it's like what I said about Dakota Six Killer, man. Besides, who has a fucking cooler name in comedy than Dakota Six Killer? I'm sorry, that's not fair. But yeah, the fucking Norm Macdonald thing of just like if there was nobody else in the room, you get the sense that he'd be still having exactly as much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other name that I think kind of rivals that would be Thunderwolf with a period.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Thunderwolf especially that it's woof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and he's bold, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole like idea of like handing a set list to somebody else and then letting them pick. And
that's another guy that just has the charisma where like as soon as he walks in the room or like he gets the mic, people are drawn to watch. Like, you know what I mean? They just have it.
Yeah. The it factor.
The confidence.
Hot property.
Yeah. Fuck it, we're gonna do it.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
There's no place in show business for that,
Yeah. Do it.
It's not like you're ever hanging out. Hey, honey, what do you want to do tonight? Go see a movie or something, or maybe grab a beer down at the bar or something. Hey, I know a good thing. Hey, why don't we go to that new joint they got down on Main Street there? That's a good club. They got 6-year-olds dancing.
Michael Jackson would love that.
Hot Property's going to be there tonight.
See, he just keeps...
They're good.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's right, little children. Yeah, but they're better live than on TV, I've heard. They're good, they're dancing. That's right, little children dancing. Come on, honey, get your coat, let's go. We got to beat the... The bands always name themselves bad on that show, too, man. They kind of brag in the title of their band. I was like, Hot Property,
He just uses it again?
Wind. It doesn't look like a jackass. You can't brag about yourself in the name of your band. It's crazy.
Humble fuck.
Then it makes for these really weird intros for Ed, He's like, this next band has been kicking around the Boca Raton area for the last 16 years. Now, America, say hello to Hot Property.
He just keeps using it.
Now it's time for a judge's decision. Another tough decision for the judges. Our challengers, Hot Property, receive 1.25 stars.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Damn, Hot Property.
Our champions, Chunk of Shit, receive 4 stars. Chunk of Shit. Another perfect score. Come on over here, Chunk of Shit.
I love that this was his bonus track. I was like, this is the thing that didn't work. Like, this was like one of his things that was not good.
But his that's the thing is like
his delivery and it's just
it's perfection.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no space between it doesn't work and it does work for him.
No.
It's like they're right next to each other. I just
because
fucking love
Norm
that.
had this effortless way of just being like, it doesn't matter if he had the microphone or he was going to be in that stage or he's going to be in you're on the couch.
Right.
You were going to have that same Norm question come out, or just that same just him rambling for a bit.
Well,
he would do that anywhere.
Like Cars and Coffee.
Yeah,
like he's that guy.
My favorite clip is on Conan back in the day when it had Courtney Thorne-Smith.
Right?
Did you ever see that?
I don't think I know. I don't know who that.
She's a blonde. She was in Melrose Place, and then she was also on a couple of other shows, like According to Jim. Do you remember that, Jim Belushi?
Yeah.
She was the wife on that.
Okay, got it.
She's promoting this movie with Carrot Top on Conan, and Norm was the first guest. And usually, on like talk shows, like the guests would scoot over on the couch, and they're supposed to be silent.
Yeah.
Norm won't shut the fuck up and keeps interrupting this thing, and even starts making fun of the movie she's in with Carrot Top. And it's fucking gold. We'll bond over Norm and we'll end there.
Our next guest has played Allison Parker at one of the many dysfunctional.
I know she was also on the Aviator show.
Oh, really?
The pilot show that had two actors.
Norm, you're sick and you're all over her like a bare rug. Just leave her alone.
No, because before during the commercial I was saying I had a huge crush on her.
Yeah.
And then you said you did too.
I said I did. When you were on Day by Day, I developed this big crush on you, and this whole talk show is a scheme to get you here.
I liked her when she was on the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder. Not the Tomorrow Show, but the Later Show.
He says to me in the break,
You have no idea who I am.
Yeah, no, I know from that show. That's all.
He says to me, "Oh, I really like her. I saw her. I really think she's great. I really have a crush on her." And I said, "Where? You saw her at Melrose Place?" He said, "No, I was watching Tom Snyder, and she was on, and she was a great guest." And I said, "Wait a minute, that's the show that's opposite our show." Why weren't you watching our show, pal?
Because I wasn't on it that night.
He's just taking over her interview.
We have exciting stuff to talk about.
He can't shut up.
But
they had her on this. This was supposed to be like her big movie. Like her first movie after leaving Melrose Place
was with Carrot Top.
And this is her promoting that movie. And Norm.
And so you finally said there's no more that this character can do, right?
I can't do any more.
I'm just waiting for it.
Married and divorced and widowed, and
I can't remember exactly what happens, but I know it's bad.
Season finale. Can you give us a tip for all those fans out there? What's going to happen?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
You'd be mad at
Good
me
night,
if I
everybody.
did.
We had a good time. No, I mean, but give us some sense.
It's
of
kind of weird seeing how informal this is too.
Yes.
Compared to now, how pre-produced.
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
her agent would have been out there saying, "You can talk about this. You can talk about this. You can't talk about this."
Yep.
All right.
Are you talking about Melrose Place? No, because
You're the biggest ass I ever met. I love you for it.
That soundproofing on the back wall, just a look. It's weird.
When I lived in LA, I lived on the actual street called Melrose Place. There's an actual street.
There's a Melrose. Is there really a Melrose
There's really
Place?
a Melrose
Melrose
Place.
Place.
You know this, right?
Yes, it's true.
So they opened a restaurant called Melrose Place on it, and then it's right beside my house. And every time I go out, there's all these tourists, and these tourists, they're always fat and they're taking pictures, standing in front of this restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, thanks for the help, pal.
You could always say after anything he interjects, nobody cares, Norm, but I care because he said it.
Shut up.
And now you're feeding him it's oh, he sees a laugh. Now you can't stop it.
Well, I want to talk to you about something because this came up earlier in the show.
You can see him thinking.
I didn't know what Norm was going to talk about tonight, and it's best sometimes if I don't know. But he mentioned Carrot Top. You are making a movie with Carrot Top, right?
I made a movie with Carrot Top.
Okay. You've made a movie with Carrot Top. It's not out yet.
No, it's
Can you
not
put the
out yet.
picture up of Carrot Top again just so we can all see him? Oh, there it is again. Yeah. All right. Okay.
What a career.
The smattering of
Melrose
applause.
Place to do a movie with Carrot Top?
That's where I'm going, my friend. This begs the question now. Why a movie with Carrot Top?
Why a movie with Carrot Top?
I mean, no, I don't know much about Carrot Top, you know? I don't know much about him. I'm a little jealous.
Carrot Top came up, got popular, and the comedians just shat on him.
Yeah, man, he was the Nickelback of comics, man.
then to Ralph Mal from Happy Days.
Like even Conan probably knows who Carrot Top is. He's just playing it down right there.
Yeah.
In which you do movies with the redheads. What's he like, first of all?
He's extraordinarily sweet.
Nice guy.
He really is, and he worked very hard, and he was adorable.
And he works with a lot of props and stuff too, right?
Not in the movie.
Oh, in the movie they took his props away?
They took his props away.
That's a bad time to suddenly take away everything you know about comedy. You know, you've been using props now all your life for comedy. Now we're going to take them away when you make your first movie. Was he okay, though, with it? He was cool?
He was great. He did a wonderful job.
Do you have a scene where you and him embrace?
Yeah, lots of making out.
Oh, for God's sake.
Nothing but making out.
All right.
It's like 9.5 weeks.
This is so uncomfortable. You can tell she's not getting what she wants out of this.
Did you hear what she said? She's like 9.5 weeks with Carrot Top. She's fucking with him.
Yeah.
Is it called 9.5 seconds? Like he's premature ejaculating.
Because he explains it. That's his fucking gift, man.
That's what happened. You know what? He said 9.5 seconds, and I'm looking at him because I know there's more. And I wait, and I see the glimmer in the eye, and then bang! I thought you were going to, but no. But what's the movie going to be called?
Well,
Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
What about my career?
Oh my God.
Sitting to your left is in the movie.
I'm going to go see it for fun.
After you scare everybody else away?
No, I love this girl. I would see any movie with this girl in it. She's a beautiful lady and a talented, nice talk show guest.
Look at him, he's having such a good time.
Rival show. All right. Well, there's this 2-hour season finale
this
of
is
Melrose
good.
Place. There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh. All right. Do something with that, you freak.
Wait for it.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
Such good improv. So good.
He's like the Beatles of comedy. There's just good jokes floating around in the ether, and he just like goes, blink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that one. God, he's
Like
fucking...
that, I love that because like she's on there to launch her movie career. They just fucking basically destroy it.
I need to take some time off work so I can just go down a Norm Macdonald rabbit hole.
I still haven't watched this final thing on Netflix. I can't watch it. I started it and I couldn't watch it.
I know, man. It's like,
it was too rough. Like, I'm such a Norm fan. Like it made me tear up just even watching the trailer.
I almost miss him. I'll say it. I miss him more than I miss Robin Williams.
Ooh.
You know? I mean, here's why. I got enough of Robin Williams. I mean, it's a horrible thing to say, but like his body of work is so rich.
Yeah.
But like Norm, you just feel like, and I also think he's kind of like unappreciated.
Yeah.
Like he's a comic for sure. But like he's just
I always say like so my favorite comic of all time is David Tell. That's just my.
Did you go see him when he was here?
No.
I'm sorry to rub it in. I did.
No.
He was fucking brilliant. His improv skills are that level. David Tell's improv, his whole bit.
Yeah.
Like I think he thrives on putting himself in positions where he's got to think on his feet.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that.
Skanks for the Memories, his album is still I regard as one of my all time, or if it's my favorite comedy album.
Really?
I listen to that backwards and forwards, like for the phrasing, but like that album still holds up. It's amazing. It is fucking brilliant. I don't know if you've ever heard it or listened to it. It's basically his main album.
Yeah, I would not have gone to see David Tell if my friend Blake hadn't talked me into it.
Really?
And you know who turned me on to Norm Macdonald's genius was my friend Blake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, former city councilman in Tulsa, restaurateur, great guy. Currently the mayor of Tulsa's chief of staff.
Nice.
Yeah, great dude. And turned me on to how he like really got me to see the genius of Norm Macdonald.
Because the writing and the intelligence, you can see it.
It's just it's so good. He's so fucking good. And it's understated.
Yeah.
What is the best? Is it Murphy's or is it Frank and Lola's? If I'm doing a Bartlesville.
No, Depends on what you get. So Murphy's signature thing,
The gravy.
is it's the hot cheeseburger.
Okay.
The hot hamburger.
Yeah.
I get a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
But do you know what that is? A hot cheeseburger. So
They
Murphy's
cover it with gravy, right?
Yeah, so it's an open faced burger.
Yeah.
Then they put fries on it, and then they cover that with their signature gravy.
Yeah.
And they call it a hot hamburger.
I could only do that if I went with somebody because I can't finish that thing. There's
Okay.
no way. And it doesn't seem like it would reheat really well.
No. No. Especially the fries get all soggy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's good. Frank and Lowe's has a lot more different stuff.
Okay.
And then Chinese wise, there's a place called Szechuan. It's really good. It's famous in Bartlesville.
Oh, nice.
They have the best sesame chicken you'll ever have in your fucking life. Like that's their signature thing. It's like their signature recipe. They don't tell anybody else.
Somebody was talking about Chinese food yesterday, and I got a real craving for it. So that might be it.
It's over there by. You'll see it's by Chick-fil-A.
Szechuan. I won't forget it.
It's a little place. Husband and wife own it, and they've been there for like 20 years, something like that. I've had it since like a kid. Like that's my thing. Is like every time I was sick, my mom would get me egg drop soup from there. So that's like my thing. Instead of chicken noodle soup or something like that when you're sick, I have this craving for Chinese egg drop soup because of Szechuan. Because every time I was sick, my mom would go on the way home from work and just pick that up because egg drop soup's cheap. You know, you can buy a big quart of egg drop soup from fucking a Chinese place for like $2. Yeah, if you're wanting Chinese, I would go Szechuan. Szechuan's a good place. Shout out Szechuan, real local place. It's a great place.
Shout out Szechuan. I haven't eaten your food yet, but I'm about to.
Yeah, it's a great place.
I keep looking at the TV like it's
just
yeah.
Let's go. Well, man, you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on. It's been an awesome experience.
I had a great time, man. So fun to get to know you. I knew it was going to be fun, but I really, really enjoyed myself.
Where can everybody find the great Jeff Thompson?
Let's see. My open mics I'm doing at Starlight when I can stay up that late. It's a great mic, but I'm such an early sleeper. And then I'll be performing at Go Comedy's Jack of All Haunts show on the 13th of October.
Nice.
So that's the most upcoming show I've got booked. And then the following night at my own show, I'll be performing as host with Brett Jeffries, Jacob Hatfield, and Lacey Rains.
That'll be the Sober
October at Noisetown on October 14th.
Thank you for coming on, man. This has been great.
I had a blast.
And thank you for the gifts.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, I want to live on in infamy, and I know that whenever I see your Miss Agent Orange, I'll be like, that's me.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Well, dude, thank you so much, guys.
You bet, brother.
This has been Unloading Meat. I am Jared Ralphie Allen. That's Jeff Thompson.
I'm Jeff Thompson.
Guys, peace.
Peace.
Unloading the meat. 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 Unloading the meat.